How is everyone doing tonight? I went live. I clicked go live like 5 seconds before 9:30. I think that might be the first time I've ever been early for a live. I went live at 9:29 for those keeping score at home. How's it going, everyone, tonight? I remember to do the intro. I have the highlighted comments ready to go. Most prepared I've been in a long time. Mason Berry, shout out CNA Games. He was hosting his own Q&A for the next 30 minutes in the comments before Dan goes live. He was slacking a little bit. Miss Ivy of Trading Card Garage fame. If you're in the Las Vegas area, go check out her. You can see her avatar right there is her wearing her TCG shirt, sporting the LGS. Got Ponga, but yeah, she asked the question, and then 15 minutes later, it took Mason to get to his question. I say that, and that's a dangerous thing for me to say, calling out Mason for taking 15 minutes to answer a question. I, at times, will get 45 minutes to an hour behind my chat. So who am I to call out Mason for being 15 minutes to answer a question when I'll do my best, though. I have a little spiel. I have a little rant. I have a couple things to talk about. I actually have my nice drive sheet over here, nice notepad with some bullet points. I'm gonna save it till later. If the lights go red, if somebody gets the lights red tonight, maybe I'll get there myself. But I spent an hour and a half at Chase today. I did not have going to the bank on my schedule. That might come up. Massive time in the hobby. I feel like every day, every night, every week is a massive time in the hobby. But journey together. We are journeying together through this boom, and Journey Together comes out next Friday. Pre-release was like last Friday, 2 weeks before the actual release. Some stores have it, some streams have it. It should be coming to Catch 'em All Collectibles Fanatics Live near you on next Friday, on the actual release day. I just had a call earlier with Fanatics. They have some exciting things planned. I'm not going to start teasing them yet. I'm not going to start spoiling them yet. But exciting things planned for Journey Together release weekend. Mostly Friday night, mostly like actual release day, release night. So excited for that. This weekend. So this weekend I'm going to PK's and we're going to be doing a Fossil first edition booster box break. I should have had it handy. It's around the corner. I don't want to have to leave the screen during a live stream. But if it goes really late and someone wants to see the box, I don't know why you need to see it, but Dragonite, Gengar, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. Hopefully we hit some better things than we did with the Jungle Box. The base box was looking pretty dark till the end, and then Charizard and Blastoise came out at us in packs like 10 and 11 or whatever. But Fossil, we're going to do similar. We're going to sell unweighed. We're going to weigh it, and then we're going to rip heavies. We're going to ship lights. I do have secured for April. We're doing base set 2. I think Ponga will be doing that one. Not entirely sure. Need to verify dates. Need to verify with the streamers what they want to do. And then Rocket, Destined Rivals coming out in May. Sometime around, probably the weekend before, ideally. The weekend before Destined Rivals release date, which I think is the last weekend in May, if my memory serves me. We're going to target having PK do Team Rocket First Edition box break for all that hype. It'll be a week after pre-release of Destined Rivals happens and a week before. It'll be like this weekend in the release schedule of that next set, Destined Rivals. So very exciting time. A lot of stuff going on. Crazy. I'm a little concerned. I have a pallet coming and lots of UPS, FedEx boxes from one distributor, pallet coming from the other distributor of Journey Together. I usually get a couple hundred boxes of every set. I think my Journey Together was 80 to 90% of what my Surging Sparks was. So it was a little bit smaller for me. Anecdotes all around. Some people were flat. Some people were down 30, 40%. I was down 10 to 20% approximately. I don't remember. If someone cares to know the exact numbers, we can look that up together later in the live stream. But I'm just trying to make sure I tick all my bullet points, and then I'm going to get to the questions, and we'll take the other topics as they come up naturally, if they come up naturally. Maybe I entirely forget to get to them, but if the lights go red, we got a bank rant. I'm doing the box break of Fossil this weekend. I do have to plug the link below, $25 for you, affiliate link, and I don't think I have that handy. That would be a good one to have handy to pop up on the screen. there's directions on my Instagram. Check out my Instagram. $25, $20 code, catch them 20. You get $45 worth of stuff for $4.95 shipping. Pretty decent win-win. Affiliate link, we get a kickback. You guys get a heavy discount, 90% discount on $50 worth of stuff. If you're interested in that. But yeah, during the Journey Together release, simultaneously, MetaZoo is releasing. I don't know if we knew at the time that end of Q1. So MetaZoo announced the launch date being end of Q1, or by the end of Q1, sometime several months ago. Sometime maybe November, maybe 3-4 months ago. I don't know if we knew firmly that Journey Together release date was also the same day, March 28th. Both Journey Together release and MetaZoo 2.0, MetaNew, whatever you want to call it. Old Zoo and MetaNew. I don't know if I've heard MetaNew said. I've been saying Old Zoo, New Zoo, but I think I like Old Zoo, MetaNew. Meta2, MetaNew, a lot of different names, but launching on the same date. I'm interested to see how that goes. Pending how the market receives it, pending how it goes, I will potentially bring up a third streamer on either eBay or Fanatics Live, and I will have somebody devoted to MetaZoo. We'll see if it happens. We'll see if the market will bear that. Maybe the market won't bear that. Maybe 2 hours once a week. Maybe we do 2 hours once a week at the start, and then 4 weeks later, we're ending it because it went so poorly. Maybe we're going to 10, 20 hours a week. No idea. Genuinely have no clue. Interested to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm curious if GameCubator knew that Journey Together was going to come out on the same day. Would they like that? Would that be bad news or good news? Feels like it would be better if it wasn't the release day of a Pokemon set, but I don't know. Maybe that's preferred in some way. I'm not gonna spill the beans here, but I got allocation numbers from both my distributors, all 3 of my distributors, and I'm gonna do a MetaZoo Saturday video this Saturday. So I covered MetaZoo a little bit right now at the outset. I am going to save the rest of that. I will save the people who are here only for Pokemon. Dan is a Pokemon channel. Look at all the Pokemon behind you. There's a little tiny bit of MetaZoo behind me, so I have to talk about it a tiny bit, but I'll save the rest of it for Saturday. A dedicated MetaZoo streamer, top signal. We have Mr. James of Z&G Emporium, seconding that motion on calling a dedicated MetaZoo streamer a top signal. The market that we're in this market, if any market could bear a MetaZoo streamer, it would be this market. 2020, 2021, there was MetaZoo streams, and they were a thing. We'll see if it happens. But I will talk more about that Saturday. I will save all of you Pokemon people from hearing more about that right now. I just wanted to cover, like, next weekend is so busy with Journey Together. I'm not launching, not knowing how it's going to go, having PK and Ponga tied up with Journey Together. I will physically be in Fort Lauderdale for Collecticon the weekend of Journey Together and MetaZoo release. So the logistics of me getting that running and getting the Pokemon going, it's just not feasible, not plausible. I am not going to be able to do that. So if and when MetaZoo streams start, they will be mid-late April. We'll see how that goes. But another thing I wanted to show too, little bit of self-promo, also potentially like maybe cool goodies for some of you viewers out there, and kind of an interesting conversation. I might make kind of a video on the process. I have items for sale at Heritage. Dan, why would you, a guy who has his own consignment service, let me see where my consignment service is. So if you're interested in consigning single PSA CGC BGS graded slabs, as of right now, Fanatics does not take tag. Tag, the Zoolander meme, tag, so hot right now. Unfortunately, I cannot accept tag slabs with my Fanatics Collect consignment. But Dan, when you pay out up to 95% on single graded cards on Fanatics consignment, why would you ever consign with Heritage, who has a 25, 30%, 50% buyer's premium, whatever it is? I think it's actually 25%. Let me pull it up though. Let me go to the other screen. Oh, when I go back here, hold on. It's gonna play my intro when I go back. I forgot to turn it off. Yeah, let me turn off my intro and then go back over here. So I consigned uncut sheets. As of 8 months ago, Fanatics used to sell uncut sheets I had always intended to send my uncut sheets to Fanatics, but Dan, why would you consign with a boomer auction house that charges so much money? I do not like handling uncut sheets. I really like the idea of uncut sheets. I like the idea of displaying them. I don't have the space. The real estate that one uncut sheet takes, I can have like multiple canvases. I can have shelves with tons of collectibles. I like uncut sheets, but I don't have the space to display them. So I sent 12 uncut sheets to Heritage. Some of the uncut sheets, many uncut sheets can be rolled up and shipped in a tube. Not a big deal. But one thing that kind of makes me worried about potential returns, and I'm just going to be miserable if somebody returns an uncut sheet. I shipped them off. I cut a piece of 3/8 plywood. I cut it to perfectly fit the size of the sheet, a little bit bigger. And I sent 12 sheets in top loaders to Heritage. The way that they image them, like I used to have these listed on my own eBay for high, buy it now, or best offer, and they look terrible. I'm a terrible photographer. I'm a terrible seller in many ways. I am not the guy to sell to the end consumer. I'm like, let the experts at Heritage, they've actually gotten very strong sales on uncut sheets. So I'm like, let me just get it out of my mind, get it off my plate. Let me focus on the live. Let me focus on the consignment with Fanatics. Let me focus on 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch rectangle. I don't want to focus on 28.5 by 39.5 inch rectangle. That is too large of a rectangle for me to deal with. My specialty is 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch rectangle. So anything larger than that, I guess maybe jumbos, maybe packs, a little bit more in my wheelhouse. Got some jumbos right next to me. But so what are the 12 sheets? Neo Genesis, common sheet, I believe. Action Flips, Premiere, uncut sheet. And these are all ending. These end on, when do these end? I'll tell you about the timeline too. I won't, I guess I'll cover the whole thing and maybe I'll make a video about it. Maybe I'll make a short about it. But these end on Friday and Saturday, March 21st, March 22nd. So yeah, these end very soon actually. These end very soon, Friday and Saturday, this Friday and Saturday. Hopefully me being logged in, hopefully it's not showing my information anywhere in here. But maybe it is. Neo Genesis uncut sheet, Action Flips uncut sheet, stickers uncut sheet, kind of an oddity, kind of interesting. One thing I really like about these things, the history behind this is pull number 3 of skid number 9 on November 4th, 1999. Some people would be like, that thing's inked, yucky, I don't like it. I think the history that you get with uncut sheets at times is really interesting, really cool. That one's got a big Sharpie squiggle over it. Nothing historic about that. That's not like the name of the executive that was in charge of these things at these times. This one, if you zoom in, 11/6/2000. So November 6th, 2000, printed by PBM. That's actually one thing. PBM Graphics, I believe it's called. They print Lorcana. They print MetaZoo. They printed some Pokemon back in the day. MetaZoo, sorry, they print Lorcana, they print Magic is what I meant to say. It was mentioned before at some point, I think, that there was an intent to definitely print MetaZoo in the United States. MetaZoo, I don't know if anyone else caught it aside from me. I thought MetaZoo was being printed at Millennium Print Group, MPG, and it ended up that in the video, I forget what they called it, the showcase, the MetaZoo showcase they released a couple weeks ago, they said that they actually printed them at PBM. So same facility, maybe a different facility, same company that printed this Neo Genesis sheet. Property of WotC, not for resale. Don't tell WotC that I'm reselling this. You've got a plain, uncommon sheet. Dan, where did you get just a common hollow sheet? I bought it on eBay. I bought this sheet on eBay years ago for like $100, I think. $100. It's like, hey, I'm already making money. I'm already making money with the current bid. Interesting oddity that I saw come up on eBay years ago. I placed a bid. Uncut, Pops the First Movie sheet, silver foil, reprint, yada yada, all the different things they say. This one was cool. This is a Spectra Chrome sheet. It has the Spectra Chrome variant, but it doesn't say it on the back. So normally these would say rate. Oh, I need to click into it to get the high res. We don't want that yucky low res. Still not amazing high res, but usually it would say Spectra on the back. Is this the proper sheet? Uncut, yeah, test sheet. So usually it would say Spectra on the back, but this is the Spectra foil variant, and it actually doesn't say Spectra on the back. It either right here, I think right here it would either say Spectra, Sparkle, or Techno. This is the Spectra one. It doesn't say it. Is it an error? Is it a test sheet? I don't know what it is exactly. They called it here though. They called it a test sheet. We also have just the Topps Chrome Series 1. So this is the Chrome, not Spectra, not Sparkle, not Techno, just the regular Chrome sheet. Pretty cool sheet. Again, I didn't display it anywhere. It sat on my shelf. I feel like moving these along to someone that will appreciate them more. Top Series 1 uncut sheet. Top Series 1 tin topper uncut sheet. Top Series 2 uncut sheet. A lot of Topps ones. Topps Series 2 clear cards. This one's really interesting. Some of these is like, is someone going to buy this, chop it up, and grade the cards? I have no idea. Usually these sheets go for less than the parts would go for if you were to do that. I think getting them cut professionally would be very expensive. Also, sheets, part of the reason that I don't want to sell them myself, a lot of them get rolled up and unrolled and rolled up and unrolled. No sheet is in perfect gem mint condition throughout the whole area. And Topps cards coming out of the pack, a lot of them aren't PSA 10s. You can imagine a 28 by 40 inch sheet. This thing is not going to be immaculate. This thing is not going to be pristine. This one right here says very light scratches across the sheet, very good condition, light wear on the edges and corners. If you cut this whole sheet professionally, there might not be one single PSA 10 on the whole sheet. But final sheet here, and then I promise I'm going to go back full screen, answer your questions, talk about whatever you want to talk about. Pokemon Top Series 2 tin toppers, uncut sheet. Big black mark across it. I don't know what that was. A lot of sheets have some kind of issue. But yeah, they say adhesions together. The sheet has creasing across it, some surface wear. The front side of the sheet is peeling from the back side at the top and bottom. These are the kinds of things that I knew that they would professionally detail. They would professionally image and show. And I didn't want to deal with it. In this market, in this boom, I did not want to be dealing with marketing and selling uncut sheets. And some of them can be rolled up and shipped in a tube. Some of them cannot. Some of those top sheets, if you were to roll them up, they're too thick. They could be rolled, but they have to be like a diameter like this. Some of them you could roll to a diameter like quite small and put in like a 12 inch PVC tube and ship it. But yeah, I wanted to show all those things. Let me get back to my other tabs and let me bank rent. Oh, one other topic that I want to show. Maybe we'll do that right now, quick. Talking about the damage of the sheets, talking about issues. We got another top signal, Z&G Emporium. Dan trying to sell us Top Series 2 uncut tin topper sheet. Sahara level dust. Appreciate you, James, for being here. Huffing some of this Sahara level dust. 12 sheets, those are all the sheets that I had. I believe there might be some hiding somewhere. I'm going to be kind of upset if they are, because I will be kicking myself for not putting them all in that one package that I shipped. Heritage actually paid the shipping themselves. They factored that in. How nice of them. So I shipped this stuff, just to give you an idea of time frame. I shipped this stuff in January, and I knew all this going into it. None of this was a surprise. I've seen, I've experienced it myself. We got, shout out Z&G Emporium. We've got a big consigner in here. He recently made a video where he talked about adding a couple days to his payout process. I think he pays out, I just saw him post in Discord, 8 to 10 days after the close of an auction. With my Fanatics, I pay out anything paid by Wednesday. So it ends on Sunday. I pay out within 2 or 3 days, or what was paid within 2 or 3 days. So Fanatics, every Sunday, it ends at 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., depending on how many extended bidding cycles it goes. If your item is won and paid on Sunday night, I pay you Wednesday. So I pay within 3 days. But half the stuff doesn't get paid by Wednesday. So I pay you the next Wednesday. I pay out every Wednesday for every item paid by then. So some items are getting paid 1, 2, 3 days after they were paid, 3 days after the auction closed. But half of items or more are paid like 10 days out. And some of them, only about 3%. About 3% of my items on Fanatics go unpaid. So those take a few weeks to get relisted, another 10-day auction. That takes like an extra month. It sucks. But just to give you context, so Z&G Emporium, 8 to 10 days. Me, 3 days, 10 days, depending when the buyer actually pays. And I ship this stuff to you ship to me on Fanatics, usually a week or two, it's up. It depends on when it lands, curation times, blah, blah, blah. Thursdays are the start date, 10-day auctions. I shipped these end of January. They went live a couple weeks ago. They end this weekend. I get paid in May. So big shout out to my Fanatics consignment service. If you're interested in consigning on Fanatics, I've got you. If you're interested in consigning on eBay, I do not do eBay consignments anymore. Back in the day, I did. Shout out to Z&G Emporium. If you are, I consign with Z&G Emporium on eBay. I don't have good rates there. Not like he does. Above 1,000, he can do 93% payout. I do edge him out a little bit in rates, but I think eBay is better for certain things. I think Fanatics is better for certain things. And I can definitely shout out his service as I utilize it myself as a very happy customer. But just to pump up me and James, Heritage, ship in January, auction in March, pay in May. It's crazy what we think is fast and slow in the hobby. And like Heritage auction to payout process is more along the lines of like grading bulk when it's slow. So I think it was interesting just to share what I have for auction in case anyone wants a sheet, and then give you some insight into what the process looks like. And I knew all this going into it. None of it is a surprise. I'm not trying to like hate on them. I'm not trying to trash them in any way. It's just that's what it is, and I'm a happy customer of that service, pending what my sheets go for, I guess. But I'm quite confident they'll do better than if I auction them myself on eBay and outsourcing all the issues. One thing I wanted to say though, talking about damage, talking about sheets, talking about wear, anyone who follows PokeXBaller on Instagram, I got permission from him to share a couple images that he shared on his Instagram. And I just wanted to talk about, why did I lose it? Restart. There we go. So PokeXBaller on Instagram, shout out to him. He's consigned with me before. I think I've sold to him. I think I've bought from him before. Damage inside of PSA slabs. This is something, maybe I'll record a short on this. I talked about this years ago back on E4. Shout out to Silver Snorlax, Jason over on E4 years ago. We talked about experimenting inside of a safe, experimenting with temperatures inside of a safe, humidity, all these kinds of things. I've seen in my 11 years in the hobby, I've seen several cards get damaged while encased. So one thing, shout out to PSA, shout out to CGC. I think they're great services, great companies overall. They have financial guarantees. One thing explicitly stated in the financial guarantee is that environmental damage is not covered. What happened to this Rayquaza is environmental damage. I've seen it happen before. I forget the individual. I met someone in 2019 at Worlds, and they had a handful of cards that they kept in a waterproof safe. Where I see it happen most is waterproof safes kept in basements, kept in garages, where temperatures swing, where humidity swings. Your enemy is changing humidity and changing temperature. I don't want to get too scientific, and I would be outside of my depth very quickly if I tried to. But dew points and humidity, relative humidity, temperature levels. If you have a temperature at a certain humidity and you cross the dew point, cards will actually, PSA slabs, most grading slabs are not waterproof, and you can actually have condensation happen inside of slabs if you get drastic changes in temperature and humidity. And waterproof safes are great because if your house ever burns down, a little bit of a further issue. A lot of residential fire safes that they sell during a house fire, they get so hot that the slab actually warps and it destroys your cards anyways. Back on E4 years ago, Silver Snorlax and I talked about it. He did a little toaster oven experimentation, and most slabs will get destroyed inside fire safes in the event of a fire. But the theory is you put it inside of a fire safe, it's protected. The firefighters come in and they hose everything down. And a waterproof fire safe is nice because your cards don't get the water on them. Even though they melted, even though they're still destroyed, because fire safes don't work against cards and house fires. You need to let safes breathe. I have a couple Second Amendment safes in my house. I have a couple waterproof ones. I have a couple not waterproof ones. In the directions that nobody reads on every fire safe ever sold they always say open them regularly. About weekly. You want to open your safes. You want to let them breathe. You want to exchange the air. You want to have them in environmentally controlled areas. And if you don't, this is what can happen. If you have a picture the little sentry safe that you keep under your bed, that you keep in your basement, you keep in your garage. If you have wild swings in humidity and or temperature and you close those babies for 6 months, you can get this happening to your card. This was PokéX Baller. Anyone ever have this happen to their cards? Anyone who can provide me with any info, I'll be very grateful. I've never had this happen, and all the other cards it was stored with are fine. So got lucky. Only this one was affected, but I did reach out to PokéX Baller. He sent this Mr. Mime too. Happened. It's unfortunate, but let me double check my DMs with him because I think I told him, and he gave me permission to share these. What else did he say though? I feel like there was more that was added there. Where'd my DM with him go? There it is. He said he passed the info along to the other guy, but he did. Yeah, so he said this guy, the Mr. Mime guy, had it stored near a space heater. Wild temperature changes, wild humidity changes. The guy that I met at 2019 Worlds, he had things stored in the fire safe, and it was like dozens of cards, as far as I understood. So I just wanted to put that out there. At some point, I should probably do like a short, just warning people. Like if you have a waterproof fire safe, especially, make sure it's temperature controlled. Make sure you're letting the safe breathe. Make sure you're opening, closing. Don't let the cards get destroyed. PSA, CGC, PGS, all these companies are great for protecting your cards, but they do not protect them from the environment. That is everything I had on my list. We can go deeper into any of those topics that we want to. I'm going to scroll back to the top of chat. I'm going to answer any and all questions. So feel free to leave your questions in the chat. If you can do, I'll leave one in the chat. I'm going to do a stop sign if I can find one. If you can do a stop sign emoji, if you can do a question in all caps, it helps me a lot. It helps me a lot find your question. So if I just posted it in chat, if you can do something like that and then ask your question, I will significantly less likely miss your question. I don't know how many people we're going to have in here tonight. We'll see where the night takes us. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the start. Fishermen out here are upgrading to super rods, 70% catch rate. Line up. How's it going, Skya? Sean Jackson. Dan, let me tell you what I told you about PRB01 and sold it now at 240. Let me tell you. Tell me you did what I told you about PRB01 and sold it now at 240. I sold my PRB01 a few weeks ago through, shout out to the Green Shiz Consignments. Shout out to Probstein Consignments. I sent one to Probstein, sent one to Greeny, and yeah, I not slacking. I answered every question that was asked before you went live. Very, very fair. And again, I'm currently 25 minutes behind these current questions. So who am I to say? Appreciate you, Mason, for hanging out in chat, doing a little pre-Q&A Q&A. And Sky, I missed the Mason Q&A. How's it going? T-Chev, nice to see you. Troy, Boondock, L-Dubs. Is this an enhanced or regular Q&A? I'm excited. I'm interested to see how the enhanced booster boxes go from Journey Together. You got the promo in there. You got a box topper, something they did. They did box toppers originally in the e-reader era. They did them in Legendary Collection, Aquapolis Skyridge, and then they brought them back sometime in EX era. Because I don't believe EX Ruby and Sapphire, EX Dragon, EX Sandstorm, I don't believe the original EX era sets had them. But then they had them during like Power Keepers, maybe. They had them during some of the EX era sets, which, interesting idea. Cool to bring it back. Dragon Ball Fusion World has a manga special box set named SBO1. Don't miss the pre-order of this set. It's going to be bananas. Mason's been burned by Dragon Ball enough, thanks. I don't know if I have access to Dragon Ball. Let me pull up really quickly on one of my distributors. I think Dragon Ball might be brick and mortar exclusive, but I'm not entirely sure. I think you have to have a physical retail location. I'm gonna look up Dragon Ball right now, and I don't think Super Premium. Is it Super Premium Anniversary Box? Order due date is already passed. Sold out. I don't know. I see some Dragon Ball stuff, and I don't see anything about the maybe I can order it. I don't know. I don't see anything about the like the thing that I see with Magic and sports and things like that, where you have to be you have to have an actual store. Where should we pre-order MetaZoo? I don't know. So I made a video a couple weeks ago why I don't do pre-orders. I fundamentally don't like the idea of pre-orders, and I'm not gonna spoil Saturday's video, and I'm not gonna turn this into a MetaZoo live stream. But on Saturday, I will talk about something that happened. So allocations exist. Allocations exist, and uh, I pre-ordered a lot of product, and I didn't get all of it. How much did I get exactly? What percentages from what distributors? I will tell you Saturday. But I don't do pre-orders. eBay has some different websites. I'm gonna wait till I have it in hand to sell it. See, I don't know if I can allocate funds for MetaZoo on Journey Together. Tirelessness week. Think need to push it back a week or two. Rumor on the street is MetaZoo is doing print to demand on the base set. Can you confirm, deny? I don't know. I own part of the company, but I have no inside information towards the production of the TCG or the design or anything. I got my, well, now you're gonna make me spoil Saturday's video. I got everything I ordered from at least one distributor, and I got allocated significantly by at least one distributor. So I ordered 300 from one distributor, 300 from another distributor, and 120 from another distributor. All I'm gonna tell you is one distributor did not allocate me at all. I got the full ask. At least one distributor allocated me significantly. Like, I'm talking Pokemon level allocation. So that's all I know, and we'll see. Yeah, Mason says, who would have even said that? Rumor on the street does not take much for something to become a rumor on the street, and people will run with it. But let's see. Fort Lauderdale is gonna be popping. I'm very hype as well. It is it's gonna be a blast. I booked my flights. I still don't know where I'm sleeping. I need to figure that out relatively soon because that's coming up pretty quick. I've been offered a couple couch or air mattress situations, but if anyone has a spare actual bed and wants their housing subsidized to some extent, if you wanna, I'm gonna be there Thursday to Sunday. I have my flights. I don't have my room yet though. So if anyone is going, if anyone has a spare bed and they want to share a room potentially, my DMs are open. I looked way too late into booking the main hotel. Thursday's available, Saturday's available, Friday night is not available. I'm there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and I get there very early Thursday. I leave quite early Sunday, but I'll be able to hang out Saturday night, so I'm excited. 3 full nights to hang out. I'm not vending, so I'm just attending the con. I want to see what MetaZoo is doing there. I want to hang out. I want to probably do some wheeling and dealing. I'll probably bring some slabs. I'll probably bring a little bit of stuff. Where are we at? V-Friends Breaker when? I do not anticipate ever carrying V-Friends, unfortunately, Mr. Kai Oakbacon. Appreciate you, Mad's Toys Collectibles. I'm here for bank rants and rational thinking. I had an emotional day. I spent an hour and a half at Chase that I did not intend to spend. So Wednesdays, if you can sign with me, you know, Wednesdays are payout day. Every day is payout day if you sell me packs. So I do need to shout myself out again. I'm here, so I've got to do it. If you want to sell to me, every Monday, I update my website, buy list. I am not only buying these 4 packs, but these 4 packs, I'm paying 80% or higher of market. Every week, I need to buy 5,000 packs. Every week, my streamers, Pong and PK, are ripping like madmen. They ripped 4,500 packs last week, 4,500 packs the week before. A month ago, they ripped about 4,000 packs. We are well on our way to ripping 5,000 packs a week, 250,000 packs in 2025. So if you want to sell to me, I buy every set. Every set from XY base to current, I will buy at 70% or higher of TCG player prices. Every Monday, I create a hot buy list though, and I buy certain sets at a higher rate. Those are the ones that are selling quickly, that I really need for whatever reason. So I'm paying up for them. I'm paying 80+% on the hot buy list, and I'm paying 70+% on everything. So feel free to reach out. You send to my PO box. If you add signature, it is fully insured on the way in, fully insured until you're paid, and then end of transaction, you get paid PayPal, friends and family, Zelle, ACH, wire. But yeah, I had like 20 consignment payouts to send. I had like 5 people to pay out. I sent a big wire this morning. Chase shut me down. They locked out my online access to my account. I had to call. They unlocked it, and then they relocked it after I tried to send another wire. I had to go into the branch. It was miserable, but everyone got paid. Everyone got paid before the end of the day. So the things that can happen, it's a big pain at times, but we got it done. Let's see. Thoughts on the enhanced journey box? I personally hate it. Now there's 2 times booster boxes I need in my collection. Completely ruins my system with one next to another in the shelf. Is there 2? I thought there was. I thought every box was enhanced with a box topper. This is news to me if this is the case. If there's a regular booster box and then a booster box with a promo, that's news to me. Someone let me know in chat. I thought every box was going to have the box topper. Though I did see that I think Pokemon Center was calling it enhanced. I mean, the success of the Pokemon Center ETB and the regular ETB, I understand it. If that's the case, I understand it. I don't like it though. I used to have, back during Sun and Moon era, I had a complete ETB sealed collection. And I had maybe early Sword and Shield. I had all of them. I had Phantom Forces. I had Plasma Blast. I had not Flashfire. Phantom Forces, Plasma Blast. I had the 2 XY. Some of those ETBs are thousands a piece now. It's insane. I sold them all though. That like Collector Boy Dan liked having one of every ETB. And then when they started doing Pokemon Center ETBs, and the amount of sets that they had two regular like blue and red, not Zacian and Zamazenta, Xerneas and Eviltal, they had in XY, and then the two for every, so many sets. It just got to be too much. I didn't have the space. I didn't have the energy to keep going for it. And then they added Pokemon Center. Too many variants, too many things to come up with. Jay says, I think if it's from the US distributor, it'll have the box topper. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with that. I don't understand though. I don't understand what's going on with it. I thought every box was the same, but apparently some might not be. I am being bad tonight. I do have I'm drinking a Coca-Cola. I had a day. I got some pizza for lunch. I did though. I weighed under 230 on the scale this morning, so I'm allowed to eat pizza. I'm allowed to drink soda when I weigh under 230 to start the day. I promise you, I'm not ending the day sub 230 because I had some family over tonight, and I didn't do a brisket. I did a cut of beef like a brisket. It didn't come out amazing. It was still good, but it wasn't not the right thing. Gotta go for a brisket. I did pork belly though. I did pork belly on the smoker like a brisket, and then I not seared it, but I broiled it. I broiled it to get the skin. I skin on pork belly, and I got it to bubble up like pork rinds. Oh my god, it was fantastic. Talk about unhealthy food. Soda and pork belly. Tuned in and we're already on dew points. Yeah. Ammo ball collectibles. DGen dude says, oh, it's the king of non-answers. Dan won't actually answer much of anything, just repeats the same stuff every week. What? I mean, I answer with nuance. Sometimes I say might go up, might go down. Ask me a question, DGen dude. Ask me a question. I will answer your question. It might be, but like the real answer. If you say, Dan, is Journey Together going to go up or down? It could do either. It probably will do both. So you didn't ask this question, but let me answer this theoretical question. If you ask me, Dan, every week we're talking about, is this going to go up or down? I think Surging Sparks will go up more and then go down at some point. I think it's going to go up in the short term, because a reprint was anticipated and the reprint was tiny. I'm getting 3 boxes, not cases, 3 boxes of Surging Sparks, 108 packs. We rip 4,500 packs a week, not of Surging Sparks, but of everything. That is like a few hours worth of packs. We rip 600-700 packs a day, and I'm getting 108 packs of Surging Sparks. So I think Surging is going to go up in the short term, but 2 years, until December of 2026. That set is historically in print, in rotation for the TCG. Some people don't like that answer, but I think the answer for that is it's going to go up, then down. It could go up or down always, but like I specifically think that will go up, then down. People don't like those answers, but like those are the answers. DGen dude, if you actually have questions, ask them. I will answer them. If you want to complain, dislike, and leave the stream, I appreciate the engagement nonetheless. And thanks for being here. Thanks for caring enough to comment, trying to make me better. I will try to be better. I will take that comment to heart, and I will try to answer things more clearly, more thoroughly. Come on, guys. This is Pokemon 101. Dew points are on page 1A of every ETB guide. I assume just that slab wasn't sealed very well and the moisture got in. Do not try this at home. But if you wanted to test the waterproofness, that is not a word, but it is now. If you want to test the waterproofness, the waterproof ability of a slab, submerge a bunch in water. I would not recommend it because none of them are universally waterproof. I think it is not, yeah, if you dunked, and I'm not going to do this, but if you dunked 100 PSA slabs, 100 CGC slabs, and 100 BGS slabs in water for a night, in your tub overnight, please don't. You will have a lot of ruined slabs the next day. Most of them are not waterproof. I remember back in the day, I think it was Jason, Silver Snorlax, who did some of those tests on E4, and he posted his results there. But I've had, the scientist in me has had so many experiments that I want to do with slabs, and I've just never gotten around to doing it. Those cards look like they got soaked. It's just a matter of dew point. It's just a matter of condensation inside of the slab, temperature changes. These came from Pokemon Center. Yeah, just PokemonCenter.com. Look up Canvas. Look up Canvas on Pokemon Center, and you will find them. Fight for Fort Lauderdale. Kai, are you going? Are you going to Fort Lauderdale? Am I gonna see the Australian man again? I thought last time when I saw you, it might have been a one and done. Thought I might never see you again in real life. Origem Collectibles says you should try Top Blade as a replacement to Brisket, just as good if not better. I don't know that I've ever done Top Blade. I'm going to put that in my search history. And is that called something else? I know a lot of different cuts have multiple names potentially. Other names for Top Blade steak: boneless top chuck steak, book steak, butler steak, charcoal steak, oyster blade steak, or petite steak. I feel like I've probably had, like, definitely chuck steak I've heard of, top chuck steak. I don't know. I'm gonna look into that though. I'm gonna look into that, and the next time I'm at a good butcher who has it, I'm gonna inquire into getting that. One thing, my local butcher never has short ribs on there. Like if you go to Texas, if you go to Goldie's, if you go to Terry Black's, if you go to other places, they have what they call like dino ribs. It's a short rib. No place around me carries it naturally. I DM'd on Facebook. I DM'd my local butcher, and they said if I request it ahead of time, they can get me like short rib beef. I'm gonna do dino ribs on my smoker sometime this summer. Really excited to try that. But I jumped down. I'm gonna try to jump down when there's relevant comments. I'm gonna try to go back, take all the questions. I will try to not miss anything though. In my last video, I mentioned Pokemon can extend the print window for the sets that are impacted by these high prices so they can crush the price. What do you think? Roaring Sky style, kinda. I was around. I remember Roaring Skies going to 300 a box. Shaman, 80 plus that, like a very expensive single at the time for especially a playable card. I don't remember the timing on when Roaring Skies got reprinted, but it was 300 for a while, and it went down to 80 for a while, for a long while, for 80 sub 100 for a few months. And they can do that with any set. Will they do that with surging? I have no idea. I have very little surging. I actually just locked down, I think I locked down 9 cases of surging that I'm buying at like 75 to 80% of market to just sell on the streams in the meantime. Because I think short term, surging is going to kind of trickle its way up and I want to have it on the streams and I'm pretty much sold out. So what am I doing with surging today? I have some set on the pallets, set aside till 2030, letting them age like a fine wine. And I'm going to see how they perform over time. Speculating 4, 5, 6 years. All my other surging though, I sold out. I sent some to Probstein. I sent some to Ponga and PK. Rip for the streams. I feel like a set 3 months in, being nearly $250, $300. I don't think that's sustainable. I think that is appreciate you, Castle Strong, for becoming a member. I think that's not sustainable. I think those sets will be reprinted down. I think those surging. I've said this before. I'm going to continue saying this. As DGen Dude said, I say the same thing every week. I kind of do. But every set historically has been available sub MSRP. Surging already was. So surging, there was already days, weeks where if you wanted it sub MSRP, you got it. If you want it today sub MSRP, you're not getting it. But there was time. Prismatic has not been the case. I think Prismatic is the most, like, it's still in print. There's still releases of it to come, but I think that's the most prime for reprints. Look at 151. Look at Crown Zenith. The amount of, like, when a hype set comes out and it's a specialty set, Pokemon gets it to the people. Years later, goes out of print, price goes like crazy. But I truly think Prismatic will get printed a lot more. Will it ever be widely available at some MSRP? I don't know entirely, but I think they'll try. Surging, I think they'll try getting it back. Journey Together, I think they'll try. I think they'll do their best. I think out of Journey Together, Surging, and Prismatic, I would bet on all 3 becoming widely available sub MSRP. But if one were to not, I think it would be Prismatic. Those are my guesses. I'm placing my bets, aligning with my guesses. But yeah, will they go beyond 2 years? They absolutely might go beyond 2 years. I don't know entirely. Is the sound coming through on that? I don't know if the sound's coming through on that. Yeah, you're not hearing the lawnmower sounds, are you? I apologize, or you're welcome. I know some people like the lawnmower, some people don't. But appreciate you, Castle Strong, for dropping 5 gifted. You do see the lawnmower man, but unfortunately you don't hear him. Appreciate you either way for joining the supporters and gifting 5. Appreciate you very much. Continuing on through my question backlog. Why doesn't Pokemon buy more printers? Again, I don't know. Are they expanding? Are they doubling the print lines within their print facilities, Millennium Print Group? No idea whatsoever. But it's a wild time that we're living in. I have 12 Vivid Voltage packs. Will you buy it 95% and cover shipping? Go check out my website. It is linked below. Catch 'em all collectibles. There's a buy list tab. I am currently probably at 70% flat on Vivid Voltage, sadly. And thank you, Kai, though, for giving me the ability to shout out my process and let you know how it goes. Some people do ask me, like, hey, Dan, how do I sell to you? I don't cover shipping. So these prices are what I call landed prices to my P.O. box. If you have 1,000 Evolving Skies packs that you want to sell to me, I have $20,000 for you. If you want to be paid up front, I can do that. I'll pay you PayPal goods and services up front, and then you ship to me, and then all's good. Or if you want friends and family, if you want Zelle, if you want ACH wire, $20,000 would be more prone for ACH or wire, not Zeller, friends and family, due to the lower limits. But it's fully insured as long as you add signature, and you would cover shipping. I would provide the insurance as long as you put signature on it, and then once it lands at my PO box, I will pay you out. I'll pay you out same day once I verify. But I do shoot for a minimum $500 buy. Occasionally, Kai is not the first one to offer me 12 packs of Vivid Voltage at 95%. I don't do like $50 buys. I don't do like $200 buys. I try to do at least $500, ideally at least $1,000. Just because the amount of time it takes to buy Kai's 12 Vivid Voltage, it takes about the same amount of time to buy 500 Vivid Voltage. So Kai, if you find 488 more Vivid Voltage and you want to sell for 70%, I'm your guy. But feel free to wheel and deal in the comments. If anyone wants to buy Kai's Vivid Voltage at 95%, slide into his DMs. What they print now go out in 6 months. Yeah, It's interesting because like with MetaZoo, I apologize for bringing it back up, but it's highly relevant. With MetaZoo, they changed the box like a month ago. MetaZoo is releasing next week, and a few weeks ago to a month ago, they changed the box design. I don't know how much MetaZoo is printing, but I presume MetaZoo is printing 1/100th or like 1/1000th of what Pokemon prints. I don't know the numbers that Pokemon prints exactly. 12 billion cards, 13 billion cards a year. Is MetaZoo going to print 13 million cards a year? That would be 1/1000th of the print run. Are they going to print 130 million cards? That would be 1% of the print runs. No idea. But the logistics of printing less almost surely makes it easier to be nimble and to move around. We'll see though. We'll see though. It's reasonable to me for Pokemon to print and then get through their distribution chains. 6 to 9 months like feels reasonable. I don't know though for certain that that's the case. One interesting thing MetaZoo gave us, some amount of insight, being in their Discord. They're like, hey guys, these are at the printers now. A couple months ago, they changed the box design very recently. I was actually talking about a distributor earlier. Not going to teasing Saturday's video, but not spoiling Saturday's video. One of my distributors, I talked to them about like, hey, is the product there yet? Am I going to get it on time for next Friday? They said that it was not physically there yet, but they had tracking. They had freight tracking, the pro number, whatever. They anticipated getting it to me on time. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. Sorry for the bank inconvenience, Dan. It's for your protection. Yes. The amount of times that I've been told that I am the best part of Chase. That's how they close out some of their emails, some of their text messages, some of their whatever. Thank you for being the customer, the best part of Chase. You are what makes us what we are. All that warm, fuzzy corporate speak. Meanwhile, it's like, I have money. Deliver my money to this person. And here's the instructions. Here's their address. Here's their, like, and then they lock out my account. We'll get to it later. It's too early. I need to catch up to chat. But we'll have a good old bank rant later tonight, I'm sure. Boxes that came with Build and Battle pre-release kits did not have the promo. Interesting. Pre-release doesn't have a topper. Very interesting. 2 boxes. I don't collect one of every sealed box anymore. I used to back in the day. I had every one from XY base up to Sword Shield, whatever. And then at one point, I'm just like, I'm going to sell all these. This is too much. I can't display it all in one place. I can't appreciate it. Just like the sheets. I love the sheets. I am a collector at heart. I love the sheets. I love the boxes. But I don't have the space. And the market loves most of it more than I do. Like most things, the market values more than I do. I don't want to say overvalues because the market is the sum of everyone's opinion. I'm just one dude. If I think something is too expensive, I'm not necessarily right and the market's wrong. I just am one person with one opinion, and the market is like millions of people's opinions. So I'm not going to fight it. Like, hey, if you guys want my uncut sheets, here's my uncut sheets. I like them, but I don't like them thousands of dollars. They're sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Let me send them to Heritage. Let me collect a check in 6 months, in half a year. I will, yeah, I'll be happy to do that. Oh, goodness. Do we have any wrenches in the chat? I am going to... Why am I not able to moderate? Am I able to moderate? Okay, I can't moderate in my popped out chat, but I am going to report that individual, and they are going to be shadow banned, I believe. Have they been? I reported them, and they didn't go away. I need to hide them on the channel then, I guess. There we go. They're now hidden. When the sex bots are back in chat, that is a top signal. Remember a few years ago? They used to come in every stream, but no wrenches in the chat to help me out. Frisky Squid reported them. We didn't have any wrenches on hand to wipe them out quick, but I got them. I got them. Let's see. What will perform better 10 years from now? SV or SH? Sword Shield, presumably. Booster boxes. I think people will prefer SV for the chase cards and art, but this era is being printed more than SH due to the boom, so supply is up. I genuinely have no idea. I don't know. Like, what's the average box price of the Scarlet Violet era? You have Surging, you have Surging and Journey together above 200. Most of them 150 to 200. Maybe the average booster box price from Scarlet Violet is 180 or something. Average price from Sword Shield, man, you've got like Rebel class and Sword and Shield base, few hundred. You've got Evolving over 1,000. You've got Fusion, Lost Origin, a lot of them 3, 4, 500 in that vicinity. But then you still got Battle Styles, Vivid, Darkness, sub 200. Average price is more than double though. Average price is probably more than double when Evolving Skies drags it up so much. So I have money in both. I have probably double the cases of Scarlet Violet that I do of Sword Shield. So I probably have relatively equal money in Sword Shield and Scarlet Violet. I think it's a good question. I would lean slightly towards Sword Shield. So I'm leaning slightly towards Sword Shield. Walk versus Walk, I have approximately equal amounts of both. So clearly, I'm Dan on the fence. I'm pretty on the fence, both in words and in actions. That's where I'm at. I think it would be a coin flip. TCG player has both kinds listed now. Enhanced, selling for more. Interesting. The enhanced box should be more common in the US. Only pre-release kits had no promo in the box. So the non-enhanced is a rarer variant, right? But if it's international, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Some sets, historically speaking, you had actually unlimited was more expensive than first edition, primarily in Japan, because some of them got very tiny unlimited print runs. If you're 6'4" or less, 230 is too much. Read about Theatos and ask for a test with your doctor just in case it's a sneaky issue. So I am 6'4" 3/4. I'm 6'4" 3/4, and I was 228.8 this morning. My target weight by the end of the year is 220. I want to be 215 to 225 depending on the day. Depending on the day right now, I'm 226 to 232. I've seen 232 in the past week or two a couple times. But yeah, I'm 6'4" 3/4. So I'm definitely still in the overweight tier of BMI, I believe. I think to get like in the high normal range, I need to be like 205 or something, which I did graduate college at 205, 206. And I was pretty thin. I was very I don't know that I'll get back to that, but I do want to get under 220 again. Slabs that sell comfortably over 120 are an easy consign with you. A while back, you talked about a better option for slabs under 120. What was that avenue? So if you have very high volume, reach out to me. These are my public rates. These are what I do for like my average consignment is like 5 to 10 slabs. If you have 5 to 10 slabs, just like I talked earlier about, I will buy 100 packs from people for $500, for $1,000, but things do better at scale. I would rather buy 1,000 packs than 100. It's just the same amount of time to do the messages, to do the payout. Consignments are the same way. If you have, I have some consigners right now, thousands of cards, like hundreds of cards a month. They've done over 1,000 cards with me. And those ones I'm able to work a little bit more. But if you have like 10 cards under 120, I can't really do as much. Me personally though, like what would I do with sub 120 cards? I do Fanatics Live. I almost exclusively do Fanatics Live. I send them to PK and Ponga to sell there. I don't send a bunch of those to my own Fanatics. I just do them on the lives. How's it going, Gem Mint Pokemon? Gem Mint Pokemon loves Pokenomics. Pokenomics is his best friend. What will do better in 20 years? Gen 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 13? 20 years, we will be, what are we in right now? Gen 9? Gen 10 is coming soon? I think the answer is not here. I think we do a new gen every 3 or 4 years. So in 20 years, we should be 5 more gens, maybe 6. I think Gen 14 will do the best because it will be the newest set. It will be the best set of all time. It will be the best era of all time. So moderner, betterer. Gen 14, Gen 15, whatever the newest gen is, newest set will be the best set, doing the best. But yeah, that's my answer to that question. I need to go back up because I skipped a couple other questions, and I will catch them. Top sign pre-release caps out 45 minutes before event starts. Yeah, we're booming. We're booming. I hear, I think I heard like PokeNE, maybe a couple other people talking about it. Maybe Alex Nostalgianomics and Eli Pokemart were talking about like, hey, we hear about people leaving the hobby in droves and this and that, and it's like, I wish things were a bit cheaper. I wish Journey Together was not 200 plus out of the gate. Appreciate you, Pro Gamer, for subscribing. Was that Programmer RS? I don't have my Stream Elements thing open. I can't see. I think that was Programmer RS. Was that RuneScape? Let me know in the comments if that was RuneScape. But anyways, I would like it better if things were more accessible, and I would like it better if things were a fair bit cheaper. I do make out of the gate on my original allocation. I make a lot of money. I make more than I think is reasonable at this time. I would rather make less out of the gate, and I would rather have being able to buy at 70 to 80% of a more reasonable number. Because once my initial allocation's gone, sure, I make all that extra money, but I'm buying, go to my website, let me pull it up. I'm buying Prismatic right now at double MSRP or whatever it is, because it's such a crazy price. Let me double check what it is exactly. I'm buying Surging Sparks at over MSRP. I'm buying Prismatic at $9-10 a pack. I'm buying, like, I would rather have those things be more accessible. I would rather, my allocation is long gone. I'm making my fixed margin, buying it 70 to 80% of market, selling it 100 to 110% of market. I'm making my fixed margin, and I make that same percent margin whether the packs are 10, 20, or $5. In a lot of ways, I would prefer them to be the $5. But people talk about leaving the hobby, this, that, the other thing. Stores are full. YouTube live chats are full. PK Ponga live every night. PK live 5 days a week. Selling more packs than ever. So people talk about leaving. More people are coming than going, is I guess. But I don't know. We'll see. How many Paldea boxes did you get from this current reprint? I got, from one distributor, I got 3 Surging Sparks, 2 Twilight Masquerade, and 1 Paldea Evolved. That was the entirety of my reprint. I got 1 case, 6 boxes. We rip 4,500 packs a week, and I got 216 packs. Crazy. What's your thoughts on Notify server? Seems like majority of people on there are resellers trying to grab a quick buck. I'm not in any of them. I know was it Rob Burns had Poke Notify on? I think that was the first I'd ever heard content from that guy. I don't know if he has a channel or whatever, but they're a thing. It's like, whether I think they're good or bad, they exist. I'm more of like a practical, logical guy. I not good or bad. It just is. Like, the glass is not half full or half empty. It just is. And I don't use Poke Notify or other things, but you can get mad about them all you want, or you can use them and be happy about them all you want, but that doesn't change the fact that they exist. And I probably buy a lot of my packs from people who use Poke Notify and others. Would I be better off if those didn't exist and I could just go to the websites when I saw a ping in Discord and buy them myself directly? Maybe, probably, I don't know. But I don't really stress myself with it, because that is not a reality that we can live in. I don't know. We will never see Kai again, except for Whatnot. Sad. Let me know, T-Chev. Always buying. Oh no. The Pokemon dentist grabbed my groceries and slabs from an order from my hot car, and they all ended up in the fridge accidentally. Found them hours later, and all the slabs had a layer of dew on the inside. Yikes. Hopefully that did not get onto the cards themselves. Hopefully that did not damage the cards themselves. But what do you think about Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes? I randomly have a pack of Cosmic Eclipse next to me. I think they're really cool. I have zero Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes in my inventory. I am not investing, speculating in Cosmic Eclipse. If I ever buy Cosmic Eclipse in the future, it will likely be buying at 70 to 85% of market and then immediately selling into the market on a box break on the live stream. I don't hold any. I like the box, but I don't like it relative to what I hold. Like I hold zero of them. I actually hold Scarlet Violet Sword Shield era booster case. I hold lots of loose packs to sell eventually in live stream. So I like them, but I have zero. When is Rastal Festival reprinting? I read they were already supposed to be, but I doubt there's no price drop at all for some time. I heard April, I believe. Shout out to _retrospecs on Instagram. He is better for that. He buys directly from Japan. He does wholesale booster boxes on Instagram. He has a website where you can use code, is it code steak or code meat? I keep forgetting. He has a website where you can use code steak or code meat to save $5 on your purchase of 100. And he has more insight into that stuff. Shout out PokeNE. He has more insight into the Japanese stuff too. But I think April. But don't hold me to that. When will the Discord be getting the free Crown Zenith packs when they pass $10 next week? I don't believe that was ever stated. If that was stated, link me to a clip. And I will always honor my bets if I make them. But I don't believe I made that one. So L-Dub's trying to pull a fast one on me. Wasn't Roaring Skies reprint's main issue that they announced it out of print, but it went back on it? I do agree with you, though, that they can print anything into the ground regardless of popularity. Again, I was there for it. I had this distribution for it. I don't recall. I genuinely don't recall. What do you think the long-term outlook is for Pokemon Journey Together? Does the set have the upside of Evolving Skies or better? I am not one to look at many spoilers, but just initial gut reaction to this. Usually Dan is very on the fence. I would firmly say no. That doesn't mean it can't happen, but I would firmly say that I do not expect Journey Together to do what Evolving Skies did. I would be shocked if it were to happen. I'm going to interact with Journey Together in a way that if it does happen, I will have sold way too early. Generally speaking, out of the gate, I'm going to supply some to PK. I'm going to supply some to Ponga. I'm going to keep the live streams fed, but I hope at current pricing, I intend to have very little. Within 3 months, just like surging, as of today, I have less than a week's worth of surging for the live stream. Within 3 months, if Journey Together is still above 200, I want almost none of it. I'm going to put 4 on the pallet for 2030 that me and my dad do together. I'm going to try to get rid of it as fast as I can because I just don't believe the pricing. Surging, I hate it at 250. Relative to everything else going on, but like surging at 250, before I would buy surging at 250, but let me pull up my my pricing sheet so I can see. This is never, I'm never telling you what to buy. I'm never telling you what to sell. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and why. The things I would buy before surging at 250 and Journey at, what is Journey Together? Is it 250? That's insane. That is so insane to me. I'll tell you all the things that I would buy before I would buy these. So Journey Together is 244. What are we doing? What are we doing? And some of that, it's not out yet, so not everyone could list it. But before I would buy surging at 250, before I would buy Journey Together at 240, even if it's 200, I don't care. I would buy Paradox at 170 before I would buy Journey at 200. I would buy Paldea Evolved at 225. It's nearly 2 years old. I would buy Scarlet Violet Base. Scarlet Violet Base is 190. Holy crap. I would buy Silver Tempest at 264 before I would buy Surging at 256. Am I buying that? No, I'm not buying either. I'm not buying Sword and Shield cases at 100%. I might buy Sword and Shield cases at 80, 85, 90%. I'm not buying them at 100% though. I'm not buying them at 100, 110%. Some people are buying as an investment. Surging Sparks at 256 plus 10% tax. Some people are paying $280 a box to their door as an investment on Surging. Not a ton of people. I think most of the people buying it at that price are buying to rip, buy to enjoy, whatever. I would preach caution, whether you're investing or collecting. I would preach caution because like if you're spending 260, get Silver Tempest, get Astral Radiance. That's what I would do. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I would do given what I see. You can get, I know it's Rebel trash, but like you can get Rebel Clash for $259 a box. I would rather buy Rebel Clash than buy Surging Sparks at the prices. And I could be wrong. It could be in a year, in 3-5 years, Surging could be 1,000 and Rebel Clash could be 400. I don't know, but what am I doing today? That's what I think. That's what I'm doing, and that's what this channel is. This channel is me. What's the statement? I'm just providing observational information to the best of my ability, and people can infer what they want from it. That is what my channel is. Shout out to Pokemon Flying Master on the Elite Forum. Yes, the last time we had all the bots was during the Logan Paul stimmy boom. Where'd that comment go? Yes, Grimer. They were all over in the Logan Paul stimmy boom. All the bots. Gen 11 gonna be low pop seems like a guarantee. Jake hacking Gemmin's YouTube is a top signal. Let's. Howdy Dan, I'm hyped for the MetaZoo set this month. What do you think about the booster boxes having 24 packs? I'm not an expert. People out there might be able to help me on this. Isn't Lorcana 24 packs? I've heard people theorize that like MetaZoo wanted to keep MSRP below Pokemon's, so they did 24 packs so that they could have the MSRP be 120, but it's still $5 up. Like I don't know. Again, I have no insight into any of that, but I think again during the showcase video, they mentioned that PBM Graphics is who is printing MetaZoo, and as far as I understand, I think they do Magic, and I think they do Lorcana. I think isn't Lorcana a 24 pack box? So I think it just happened to be a logistics thing. And again, my theory is that Pokemon owns Millennium Print Group, right? They bought them years ago. I feel like MetaZoo reached out to Millennium Print Group for printing capacity to print MetaZoo, and Pokemon was like, no, we're going crazy. We're in a boom. We don't have the space. Get out of here. They probably didn't actually say that. They probably said like they probably rarely say no. They probably just say like if you've ever dealt with a contractor, if you ever, sometimes people will just give a bid where they don't want the job. Like they probably bid 3 times the prevailing rate because they would do it if the money was right. But for the money to be right, probably would make no sense. So that's all conjecture. That's all like I don't know what actually happened. But I was under the impression that it was going to be printed with MPG, and then it ended up getting printed by PBM. So I think 24 packs is just a factor of that's what PBM does. That's speculation though. I don't know. Yeah, 6 boxes on my reprint. Crazy. Can you talk about any experiences with resealed packs being sold to you? I've not run into it yet. So one thing I have run into is that I used to sell, and I might sell in the future more, but I've sold in the past. I've sold sealed booster cases on eBay. I've sold sealed sleeve blister cases on eBay. One thing that's happened to me before is I sold legitimate product from my distro, and they opened a return a week or a month later, and they returned it, and they returned resealed stuff. I have been around for 11 years. I've handled and opened many thousands of packs. I have a pretty good eye. I have a pretty good ability to sniff out resealed packs. So I along with PK and Ponga do our best to sniff them out, to keep them out and away from our live stream inventory over a 20-year time frame, ripping 20 years. If we're doing this, if me, PK, and Ponga are doing what we're doing today, and if we don't grow at all, we will rip 5 million packs in the next 20 years. Can I say that not one will ever get through? I can't guarantee that, but we're doing everything we can to prevent it or attempt it to be sold to you. I've mentioned it before, but like the way that I operate, I will pay PayPal goods and services up front. If you sell me resealed stuff, I will charge back my credit card. I will open a PayPal dispute. I will get my money back. I've been a PayPal customer for like 15 or 20 years, going back to when they were owned by eBay, right? And then spun off as PayPal. I've had a PayPal account forever. They would stand by me. I do massive amounts of business with them. So it would not end well if somebody tried selling resealed packs to me. So I hope it doesn't come up at all. I am almost caught up to chat. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them in chat. I see a couple stop sign emojis. They help me find the questions. I really appreciate it. But yeah, we have 135 watching. I appreciate everyone hanging out. If you've not yet, if you're hanging out, you must enjoy to some extent what's going on. Feel free to hit that like. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't. I'm actually, what am I at right now? 6.88K. We are on the charge for 6,969 subscribers. I'm a big SMART goal guy. I'm a big specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based goal setting. I've never really set goals on, and maybe it's a good thing I haven't, because 4 years on YouTube and I only have 6,900 subscribers, right? But I've never set firmly like I want to hit this many subs in this amount of time. But I'm doing 200 a month right now. So by the end of the year, what is there? There's 9 more months. I could get another 2,000 subscribers potentially by the end of the year if the boom continues, like people say it will. I might be able to do 10K subs by like mid next year. 10K is a nice round number. It makes the monkey brain feel good. So I'm gonna set a SMART goal right now within 2026, within the 30th anniversary, to be propelled over the 10K level subscribers on YouTube. I'm gonna try to stay Mr. Consistent. I'm gonna try to stay videos every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna try to stay live streams every week. I'm live on PokeFlips every other week. Actually, this Friday, I'm live on PokeFlips. We'll see where the rest takes us, though. I'm having a good time. Whether I was having a good time at 1,000 subscribers. I'm having a good time at nearly 7,000 now. I plan on being here as long as I'm having a good time. That's the biggest goal. The biggest goal is have a good time, expand, solidify the business more. But yeah, we'll see where we go. Good vibes in team up. I see message retracted by Gem Mint. I don't know if Jake got a hold of Gem Mint's phone or whatever. I don't know if they're hanging out today, but he said something about team up. And I lost it. Appreciate you, Daddy Donkey Kong. Hey Dan, loving the live. Thanks for all you do in the hobby. Appreciate you. Destined Rivals is better than Evolving Skies. Journey Together, nope. Do I think Evolving Skies hits 2K this year? Just for context, if you had asked me, I'm going to look it up right now. If you had asked me, Dan, a month ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, if you had asked me any time in Pokemon history, Dan, do you think on your March 19th, 2025 live stream, do you think Evolving Skies will be $1,300 a box? I would have said, hell no. For context, I'm setting up the answer to this question with the context. So back in October, it was 700. Back in September, it was 700. I would have said, hell no, that thing is not going to double in 6 months. And it did. I would have been wrong if you had asked me. I'm going to answer this question with hell no. I don't think Evolving Skies will be 2K this year. I have one case. I always like to give context. There's so many channels out there that will show you the lines. They'll show you the charts. They'll talk about investing this and that. Let me actually show it. Let me show it on the camera. So here's Evolving. What I like to do on this channel is I like to give context. I like to give transparency. I like to not just talk. Talk is cheap. What walk am I walking? As Mr. Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles, I have exactly, unless Ponga or PK have any, but I don't think they do, I have exactly 6 boxes. sealed inside of a case. I have one sealed case of Evolving Skies. I have no more. I had two as of 6 months ago. At some point between 6 months ago and now, I sold one of my two. I don't remember exactly. I think I sent it to Probstein, but that might have been, I know at one point I did a private sale on Instagram of some different Sword Shield cases. So whether that went in a private sale, Bankwire ACH, or whether that was Probstein, I don't remember. But case was 6,000-7,000. Now what is it, 8,000-9,000? I sold one. I have one left. If it goes to 2,000 by the end of the year, I would probably sell it. If it stays in the vicinity of where I think it will, if it stays sub 1,500, I'll probably just sit on it for now. I'll probably continue to sit on it. As crazy as that feels, as crazy as that sounds, that's again, I'm just one dude doing my best. Like, people will say, oh, it's obviously guaranteed it's gonna hit 2K this year. How many do you have? Like, how confident are you? Way more confident than me. I like to give context of, these are my thoughts, these are why these are my thoughts, and this is what I'm doing because of my thoughts. I'm not telling you to buy, I'm not telling you to sell. There's enough channels out there of people telling you to do things that aren't doing them themselves. That's what I try to make this channel be. So ask me any question you want. Ask me how many I have of anything, and I will answer. Unlike earlier, he got to me a little bit. DGen dude, are you still out there? You say that I don't answer questions. I feel like I actually answer questions, like, quite in depth, quite transparently. I don't think there's many live streamers on YouTube that will answer as many questions as I do, to give more pushback to DGen dude who left the stream 90 minutes ago. I've only been going for 80 minutes, so 40 minutes ago. I don't remember. I lose track of time during these. How's it going, Booster Boys Card Shop? We got a stop sign. I need to stop here and take this question. We are nearing the 2-year mark of Crown Zenith. I think it's officially done for retail. Thanks. Let's look up Crown Zenith release date. I think we're over, aren't we? January 20th, 2023. We are firmly over. We are at 2 years and 2 months. Oh no, I see Grimer. I see Grimer says clipped. Was that my Evolving Skies prediction? I'm assuming that's my Evolving Skies prediction, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm fearful for what's been clipped. I'm sure it's going to be thrown in my face later, but it very well could end up being 12K, and then I will heavily have to evaluate selling my case if it is. For a case, 2K for a box. I would lean towards Crown Zenith being done. I would lean, I'm not going to say 100%. I'm not going to guarantee it. Historically speaking, once a set goes over 2 years, it's generally out of print. Most sets historically have ceased printing releases after 2 years. With Surging being 250, with Prismatic being $14 a pack, with Journey Together, with Destined Rivals, I think they have enough printing on their plate for the coming 6, 12, 18 months. I have a hard time understanding how they could go back as far as Crown Zenith. That said, it's not a guarantee, but I think sets like Crown Zenith, Scarlet Violet Base even, Paldea Evolved even, I think those ones are very likely seeing some of their last printing in this past couple months, and I would lean towards, and I am banking on, again, I'm not guaranteeing or whatever, but like I have an inventory of 12,000 packs of Crown Zenith, approximately, and if I had more liquidity, if I had more cash flow, I would try to make that even a bit higher, because I do love the set. But will you get to 10K subs before Crown Zenith gets to $10 a pack? Okay. So when I was first asked this, shout out to Experience Share, he asked me in January if Crown Zenith would be 10 by 2026, January. I said, I don't think so. I said more strongly than I should have. I don't think so. But I just said, hell no, I don't think Evolving Skies will be 2K by the end of the year. It's probably going to end up being 2K. Like, the amount of times that I've made not bullish enough, too bearish, whatever you want to call it, the amount of times that I've made a prediction that was not high enough is almost every single time. In my 11 years in the hobby, if you had said, Dan, what is X going to be on this date? I would have 99.99% of the time, I would have said a number that was lower than it was in actuality. Uh, it's mind blowing. I don't know how we're doing what we're doing right now in the hobby, in the market, but we are doing it. So I am as confident as I can be that Crown Zenith. If you would ask me this in January, I would have said I think Crown Zenith will be 10 a pack before I have 10K subs. Probably. Maybe. That would have been an interesting question in January, because that would have put me at odds of like, I would have done the math. I would have projected like 2026 sometime for 10, not January. I don't see a path to me having 10K subs in January, nor did I see a path of me having $10 Crown Zenith packs in January either. But we're booming. We are booming with a capital BOOM. Keep the questions coming. Once I get to the end of the questions, I will probably wrap up the stream for the night. I'm normally 15, 20, 30-minute backlog. I am 10 minutes behind the questions. Will possible tariffs in the future impact how and whether you will do business with people from overseas, Dan? Yes, absolutely. If a 25% frictional fee is added to me buying from Europe, that makes it tough. A decent portion of my sourcing currently comes from Europe right now. There's a lot of geographical arbitrage underway. Shout out to Treasure Cruise Trading. If you want to see Adrian, we had him on stream back in December, I believe. December or January on PokeFlips. I've been buying a lot of packs from him through the last few months to sustain the streams. So he's just buying at retail in EU, shipping them back over. If a 25% tariff gets slapped on that, that's going to be problematic. That is going to eat into the margin, maybe entirely destroy his entire margin. I don't know what his margin is. I mean, I'm happy to pay my buy list on packs. When my buy list is high enough, he sells to me. Sometimes 1, 2, 5,000 packs. So yeah, I don't know. DGen dude, you're still here. Question: do you think WotC era singles are being overlooked in the current market due to modern being on a tear? Vintage is not really talked about currently. Maybe it should be. As far as graded card goes, we all experience the hobby in a very different way. Like, I am in my own bubble. I follow the Instagram accounts I follow the YouTube channels I follow. I experience the hobby entirely differently from DGen Dude, from Grimer, from Pokin Fun, from Spanky Doodle Gaming. I follow like man, I'm terrible with names, but I follow the Fine Card on Instagram. I follow ZNG Emporium on Instagram. He posts a lot of record sales for golds. I know gold stars aren't WotC, but he posts record sales for gold stars. He posts record sales for PSA 10 Blastoise from Rocket. He posts record sales for a lot of early WotC cards. A lot of, and I don't know if you're talking about raw. You're saying singles, so maybe you're talking about raw. But I just bought a pretty big collection. I bought a pretty big collection of pretty juicy WotC singles. I'm always buying. I do say on my website currently that I'm not buying singles, but depending on what you've got, I might be buying singles. Catalyst, rough condition, but I'm buying singles. And some people are overlooking. It's going to be a kind of an answer that you don't like. Yes, some people are overlooking WotC. Simultaneously, some people are overlooking modern. So some people are like, and it's fine. It's fine to only interact. I know people who only interact with base jungle fossil. I know people who only interact with WotC. I know people who like only touch the newest set. They buy the newest set, they grade, they rinse, they repeat. They don't do anything older. Modern, like the most modern, the most vintage only. I know people on every side of the spectrum. So gray area, nuance, all that stuff, all the typical Dan answers. Some people are overlooking every aspect of this hobby. I try my best to be in a little bit of everything. I would rather be the jack of all trades than the master of one. But as far as like a percentage basis, do I think they're undervalued? I wouldn't go that far. I generally think the market does a reasonable job. It's relatively efficient at valuing things properly. But there are certain inefficiencies. There are certain things that just like blow my mind. And when my mind is being blown by something, if I think it's way too cheap, I buy. I didn't think Crown Zenith would go to 10 by January of 2026, but I really liked it. I can do math. I knew it was slightly over 2 years old, and I love the set. I was buying tens of thousands of packs of Crown Zenith in January, in December, I was buying a lot of them. But I yeah, I thought they were relative to other things undervalued, I guess. But do I necessarily like I just don't know. I think generally speaking, it's not surprising, but modern is the most talked about. Modern makes the most businesses the most money. Pokemon, it definitely cares. Pokemon wants you to know about and care about these to some extent, in that they like people engaging throughout everything. But me buying and selling these, you buying and selling these, that doesn't make them any more money, right? And why I say they care about it to some extent. This is the different one. They care about it to some extent because when people like this, they can do this. So they do care about, literally, they are knowledgeable. They know people like this. They care about people caring about this because they like to make these things. And these things have done well too. So that's my long rambly rant. Hopefully thorough enough answer to satisfy you on that question. But I buy a little bit of everything. Thoughts on some recent videos blaming large distros like MJ Holdings for card shortages. Target sells PE for 21 a pack online. So some of those are like third-party sellers. Shout out to, what is it, Anon TCG, Anonymous TCG, Anon TCG, something like that. And Brian Pokiani made a video about it too, I know. I'm sure more people made videos about it, but I didn't see their videos. Let me make sure I attribute it properly, because I just, Anon TCG, I literally just watched one of their videos before I went live. But MJ Holdings potentially selling direct to consumer. As long as I've been in the hobby, I promise you, going back to 2014, throughout the years, there's been proof. There's been proof of things going on that are happening right now with MJ Holdings. And it's always been a thing to some extent. It's not amazing. It's better when distributors distribute instead of retail. But it's one of those things that, like, it goes on, but you can't do anything about it, really. But maybe the videos being made about it, maybe people did do something about it. Maybe they got it to be stopped. I watched a couple of videos. I don't know if it's entirely true, but I don't really buy from those. I buy from the people that buy from Costco, that buy from Walmart, that buy from Target. I don't have the time or energy to try to fight with the bots. I really don't interact that way. But sometimes I do know it's third-party resellers selling on those. I'm surprised you don't clip all the hits from new sets and make a ton of shorts to promote the Fanatics channel. PK has started doing that a little bit. It's just a matter of time. Like, I don't have the time. If somebody out there wanted to talk about doing that for me and getting compensated for it, feel free to reach out. I know, I think PK had somebody like take over his Instagram, some editor. If someone wanted to reach out to me and talk through what that would look like, I don't even know what compensation like that would be, but I just don't have the time. I'm not good at it either. I don't have the time or effort or energy to put into that, and I wouldn't be good at it if I did. So that's why I personally don't do it. But I think it is like, there's certain things on my mind that, like, I'm missing out not doing this. That is one of them. It's not in my blind spot. I'm aware of it. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think they'll do for the 30th anniversary? Any thoughts? I have no idea. You can't see them on screen, but I have Magic 30th up there. I don't think they'll do what Magic 30th did. I don't think they'll sell us 4 packs for $1,000, but I kinda would like that. A lot of people would hate it. People hated it for Magic. I think it was widely panned. It was widely, people were very unhappy with the Magic 30th release. But I genuinely, if they would do retro frame, new frame, like, we need another reprint of this, right? I was just showing you one. If they did that, if they did what Magic 30th did, and they did it for 4 packs, and they did $1,000 on it, and I could buy it through my distro for $600, $700, I would buy a lot of them. I would buy a lot of them, and maybe it would do poorly. Maybe I would regret buying a lot of them, but especially if you stealize some of them. So Magic didn't stealize any. I don't think they would do that. Your question was, what do I think they would do? I don't think they'll do that. I want them to do that, and I don't anticipate they will. But I don't know. I think they'll do some specialty set. I think they'll do kind of like prismatic evolutions. They'll do a release throughout the year. I think they'll do the same thing they did with Shining Legends, same thing they did with Celebrations. Do more of a prolonged release throughout the year. I think they'll do some throwbacks. I don't know though. I'm excited for it regardless. You're a cool dude, Dan. Perfect time to visit Florida. Weather has been amazing lately. Weather's been nice up here. Like I said earlier, I had some family over. We were out in the driveway. The kids were all doing chalk, doing hopscotch, doing whatever. My dad and I may or may not have been unloading some amount of palletized cardboard at 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch product. Like, well, this one's first edition. We weren't unboxing that, but we were unboxing something like that. You want to have your mind blown? Go look at the Target single pack price for a VMAX Climax. That's probably, yeah, it's probably wild. It's a very niche thing to buy on Target. Saw a guy buy 36 packs of prismatic on a rip and ship for $14.50 each. The other night, he got about $40 worth of cards. As long as people keep evaporating their money like that, Pokemon go up. I am one small channel. Me, PK Panga are one like relatively small operation in the grand scheme of live streaming. We're on Fanatics. Fanatics relative to eBay, I think they're in the same vicinity. I don't know if Fanatics is bigger or eBay is bigger, but we're on a smaller platform than Whatnot, surely. And we rip 700 plus pack. Like, no. We rip. Let me do math. Oh yeah, I was thinking week versus month. We rip 600 to 700 packs every day. We're ripping 3 to 4 booster cases of product every day. We're on pace to rip 250,000 packs in 2025. We're a relatively small operation, so it's wild how much rip and shipping. At least for now, will it last forever? I don't know. It's wild how much it's fundamentally changing the hobby. I assume PC ETBs are exempt from normal rules. I don't know what that's with respect to. I'm always 5 or 10 minutes behind, currently 15 minutes behind chat. But the 2-year reprint thing. Yeah, I've mentioned it before. Years ago, if you go back, I actually made a video about why I bought like 100 Celebrations PC ETBs. That's a Celebrations UPC up there. But I made a video on how I had an opportunity to buy over 100 Celebrations PC ETBs for a decent price, and I did it. If I had the opportunity to buy 100 to 200, 300, 400 prismatic PC ETBs, or even an upcoming set, like obviously that one, hindsight, like it made so much money, obviously anyone would have. But if I had an opportunity to click a couple buttons and just buy hundreds of PC ETBs, I would probably carry them. They probably wouldn't perform the way that they have though, if I could do that. I think the reason they're performing the way that they're performing is because they are outside of the norm. I'm not going to fight the bots. I'm not going to spend an hour trying to get 2 ETBs. I don't have time for that. So I just don't interact with them really. Dan is one of the few guys who actually does answer questions. I appreciate that. That's what I think too. Like I don't know. I make myself very accessible every other week on PokeFlips, every week on this channel. I've been around for 11 years. I feel like I have decent feel for the market. I think I act on my vibes a lot. I act on how I feel. A lot of it based in logic and reason. And over time, I've been too bearish on a lot of things. I'm willing to admit the fact that had you like the amount of times I've said this in the past year, if you have asked me any date, any time, what will this be at this time? I was always wrong. I was always too low. I was always too bearish, like universally. So keep that in mind. That doesn't mean I'll never like guess something that's too high. I made a short 8-9 months ago that aged like a fine wine. I said I need to like let me see if I can find it right now. I said at a time when booster boxes from the Scarlet Violet era were all sub 100, I believe. I said it would not surprise me if a Scarlet Violet era booster box would be greater than $300 in the next 12 months. At the time that I said it, I man, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. But I said it at a time that I would have not had like died on that hill. I was not saying I guarantee this is going to happen. But I pushed myself outside of my general comfort level because of my past, because of like I realize, I understand, I know that throughout my 11 years in the hobby, I've been too bearish. So I pushed the boundaries a little bit. Some of my speculating, some of my investing, the pallet video that I'm gonna do a 1-year recap on pallet 1 and pallet 2 in May of 2025. And it's performed insane. I'm making myself be a little more risky with things because of how well it's done for me. And maybe at some point I'll get burned. But I don't know if I'll find this. Way too many videos. Really trying to find the American Dream back in that era. That was funny. Here we go. Mind-blowing prediction. A $300 Scarlet and Violet booster box. How well did this age? Let me where am I? Let me bring this up. I'm gonna react to my own video. Hopefully I can get it to come through. I need to people are gonna love me patting myself on the back for this prediction. So people joking on me for being so bearish and thinking Crown Zenith couldn't happen $10 by next year. Wait till you see this short. Oh, where did it just go? Mind-blowing prediction. Here we go. So I'm going to share the back end of my YouTube. I don't think it shows anything that I can't show. Here it is. So, mind-blowing prediction. Published on July 14th, 2024. I got 588 views on my short. Can you see my cursor? You can't see my cursor. But anyways, let me actually show you. 85.7% of people did like that's a low like ratio compared to my other ones. Look at this one. 100%, 91.4, 94.4, 100%. It got well, only 7 interactions. I got 1 dislike and 6 likes. So it was just a not very interacted with video. But let's watch it. Let's watch it. Context. I'll pull up TCG Player next, and I'll give you the context of this video. So here's me reacting to myself. Printed. I think Pokemon, as they do normally, they will pick 1 or 2 that they don't reprint as heavily, they don't reprint as much. Look, here's maybe a hot take. Maybe it's the coldest take ever made. I think there will be a $300 Scarlet and Violet booster box within a year. Is that a hot take? I don't even know what's a hot take anymore. That's just that's what I'm guessing. I think within a year there will be a $300 Scarlet and Violet set. I don't know which. It will be obvious once it happens. If or when it happens, it will be obvious. I think within 5 years there will be a $500 Scarlet and Violet set. Maybe within 5 years that'll be a $500 one. I was thinking about saying 700 or 1,000. I don't think so. Don't act on that. That's not financial advice. I don't know which one. I think almost all of them will be reprinted. I think so. That was me saying I think almost all within the next years. I think almost all Scarlet and Violet era sets will be reprinted. Let me go back here. And this was said. So let's do a little bit of auditing. That was said on, what was the date again? July of 2024. So since July of 2024, where'd it go? In July of 2024, July 14th, 2024. So let's go to TCG Player now, and let's look up, well, it's such a pain to look at like multiple sets at once. I'm going to pull up a different spreadsheet. Since I made that video, we've obviously had several boxes come out. Let me pull up like Scarlet Violet base. Let me just give context. Scarlet Violet booster box. Let me give context of what booster boxes were at the time I made that short. If you had been bullish, if you had gone and acted on that video, I asked you not to, as I always do, but I'm gonna pull up Scarlet Violet base. I'm gonna pull up. I need to close some of these tabs, or I'm gonna destroy my Google Chrome. It's eating all my RAM as we speak. I just closed all my heritage tabs. I don't want to close the top blade one because I need to go buy that for my butcher. But Scarlet Violet base, I'm gonna pull up. Let me just search Pokemon booster box and hopefully most of them will show up. TCG Player is not amazing to search. I really wish it was better. Why am I getting cases? Why am I getting ETBs when I search booster box? Product line, Pokemon, product type, field products, product type, field products. Is there a way to get to box? I really wish I could just see like the last 6 booster boxes, but it's not behaving. Why is it doing this? Stellar Crown, Paradox Rift. I'm finding them now. Surging Sparks, Obsidian Flames. They're on like the 3rd page, which is annoying. Really annoying. I'm almost got them all pulled up. So we're gonna go. I know I don't have it on screen. We're gonna go here. At the time that I made that video, back in July of 2024. So if you watch that live, Stellar was 100. Paradox was 100. Surging did not exist. Obsidian Flames was 110. Scarlet and Violet base was 100. Temporal Forces was 105. Twilight Masquerade was not out yet. No, it was out. Twilight Masquerade was 120. So I made it at a time where, again, I said during the video, I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but to me, relative to me, to what I've said over the past 11 years, I thought it was a relatively hot take. And clearly, 1 out of 7 people who clicked a thumb on my video clicked this thumb and not this thumb. 1 out of 7 people clicked this thumb and not this thumb. So people clearly, it was universally panned. My take, I got ratioed, as the kids say. But if you had acted on that, I mean, I don't know why I didn't have Paldea Evolved, did I? Let me look up Paldea Evolved. Like when you search Paldea Evolved, 70 listings for $39.99. Some of the things TCG Player does, so annoying. Why do they put Korean Snow Hazard here? Snowy Hazard, they call it. They don't even spell hazard right. What are we doing here? Not Dukes of Hazard, Snow Hazard. Anyways, back then, July. So in the context, the most expensive Scarlet Violet era booster box was $125. Not only was I talking, not only was I yapping, like everyone does, like I'm yapping right now. Everyone talks, talk is cheap. I had dozens of cases of every Scarlet Violet era set. Now I have less of them because the price went up nearly double on most boxes in the time frame. So when the price goes up, I sell more, I buy less, and none of them hit 300 yet. So I haven't been right yet. For me to be right, I need Surging or Journey or something to hit 300 before July. So technically I could have still been wrong. But that was me pushing myself out of my comfort zone. That was me talking the talk, walking the walk, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I will end up having been wrong. But just to give you context, I called for more than a double up. So even though in January of this year, I made a fool of myself saying Crown Zenith will not be $10 in a year. I did make a fool of myself. I admit my mistakes. I did a good job, I think, predicting bullishness on the Scarlet Violet era. And I said, I think like most of them will get reprinted. In the time since I said that, Paldea Evolved got reprinted, Obsidian got reprinted, Twilight Masquerade, even though it was tiny, it just got reprinted. Surging just got reprinted. Which ones didn't? But most of them did. And I said, I bet you some won't. And I don't know what ones. Base, I don't think did. And base is 200 now, just about. Temporal, some of those ones might not have either. I still think there's a decent shot the SV5 plus sets especially will get reprinted. I don't know though. Like I don't know. I'm speculating, I'm guessing. And I am walking a walk that I'm to match the talk that I'm talking, which I think is rare. I think it's rare to find someone in the space doing business at a very high level for a fairly decent amount of time and actually not just wearing a cosplay of an investor, actually investing, flipping, whatever you want to call it. Pokemon Center website was doing updates today. I couldn't get into my cart for almost 20 minutes. Drop tomorrow. No idea. I don't really fight the bots for those things. Evolving Skies has taught me always spend a little bit extra money and buy the better set. GameStop canceled the Journey Together booster box of mine, and as a runner-up prize, they will let me buy a 151 Blooming Waters box, so a decent 151 reprint must have happened. Do I have a PC? What are some of your faves in it? So right next to me, I actually have a bunch of my personal slabs. This one is interesting. This one is technically not mine. Someone paid me in Tether years ago for this card. I am holding it on behalf of them. I live in New York. Tether is illegal. I have the money, but I can't interact with it because Tether is illegal. I told them, do not pay me in Tether, pay me in USDC. And they paid me in the wrong crypto. So I'm holding the card. If you're out there and like this card is locked up. So I am holding it for somebody, but I can't send it to them because I have the money, but I don't have the money. Very interesting circumstance. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. This is in my PC. I bought this during the boom. Radar and Gem Mint did a box break back during the boom, the pandemic boom, and I bought a Gym Heroes pack, and they pulled this for me. So it's a PSA 9 that came from that. I've got the Fortnite. Oh man, I almost just showed the trading cards of me back when I played baseball and football. Pop Warner football, and then my Little League picture. I have these in my PC stack. I almost just showed one of those off. My Fortnite skin, naturally, Robot Dan, is gonna be the AIM skin, the AIM skin in Fortnite. Those are all PC cards. This is this I pulled on stream with PK and SM Pratt and King Pokemon and tons of people in the hobby. That was pulled on stream from a base set heavy pack Charizard PSA 9. I pulled this in Vegas. I went Pokemon Saves the World in 2021. I opened a where's the other one? I opened a Shadowless Charizard, and I opened a first edition Shadowless Magneton live on stage on location in Las Vegas. These are deep PC cards. We'll never sell them. The Charizard got an 8. This one is MetaZoo Bigfoot. So naturally, I have a MetaZoo Bigfoot somewhere up here. It's PSA 9 that Gary pulled for me on a box break in Orlando. I've got a couple cards that like this one was part of a trade up challenge, and I just like it, and I don't think I'll ever sell it. A little bit of an interesting story behind it. This one was part of a trade down challenge, so that one was fun. They traded down into a card of mine for this card. So I, as a vendor, like I traded up. It was a fun little experiment that South Florida Pokemon, I forget the handle that he goes by, but yeah, I believe South Florida Pokemon is who traded down into that. I've got some gifts. This my favorite artwork in the hobby. What this card is recently doing in PSA 10. This one might leave my PC soon. I don't know. I love that card though. This is the one Gary pulled me. This one I pulled on stream myself on the MetaZoo bankruptcy stream. So that one I'm keeping forever. I have 2 Bigfoot Kickstarter PSA 9s. One Gary pulled me and one I bought. I forget which one's which, so I can't sell either of them. This Crown Zenith card I pulled at Orlando Collecticon. I was pack repping with some buddies. Crown Zenith, amazing set. So I have a PC. It's just relatively small compared to all the cards that I get that I have. I think I have binders of raw cards that I don't have ready to show, so I'm not going to show them right now. But I want to get those ready to show at some point. I also have DD Moons. Sorry, DD Moons. I sold the Art Academy card, but I still do have the Quaxley sketch that I got from the artist of the Art Academy card that I bought. I have this was a secret Santa gift years ago. I will never sell this. This is currently worth over $2,000, which is insane. But that is a PC card because I got it as a gift, and I don't sell gifts. These were both pulled from the Orlando $1 Million box break. These were pulled in the beta box break. I bought into a beta box break, which is insane to say, but I did that back in the day. So thank you for asking about my PC. Those are some of my favorites in my PC and the stories behind them. Continuing on, let me get my bearings about me. I got way too many tabs open again. I'm just gonna close some tabs so I don't end up losing the stream. Sorry. There we go. I'm back. Any tabs open? Keep asking me questions if you have any. I hope you're all doing as well as you can be, and if you aren't, remember that things will get better sooner rather than later. Yes, very good message. Watsy slabs and gold stars, giga pumping now. Singles moving slowly, but definitely trending up. Max in Dubai by 2026. Question, do you think ribbon ships will still be as viable and profitable if when the market downturns? I know you've talked about the importance of pivoting as the market changes, but wanted to ask. I think if the market downturns, I think naturally, I think my consignments will downturn to some extent. I think all aspects of the hobby will likely downturn. Is there a future where I still have PK and Ponga as my two streamers? Is there a future where we do less than 4,500 packs in a week? Absolutely. I hope we go up before we go down, but I think there's a future where things are slower. Yes, I think prices go down, which means I'll be able to buy lower. I'll be able to sell, hopefully, at a fixed margin. But I know Brian, PokeNE did a video recently about like ribbon ships might not last forever. I agree they might not last forever. I don't think they're either guaranteed to last forever or guaranteed to die within X amount of years. I think there's a reasonable chance that if I wanted to, I think ribbon ships will exist in 20 or 25 years. And I think Pokemon will exist in 20 to 25 years. So I think if I wanted to, I could still continue to do them in 20 or 25 years. Will they be nearly as lucrative as they are today, though? I hope they are, but maybe not. I could see strong arguments for either. I don't think what's happening today is only because prices are what they are. We started in October. At the time that we started, Surging Sparks was, I still have the TCG player open. In October when we started, I'm gonna just pull it up because I have it open. Why not? Why not? We're live. I might as well show things. So we started, our launch stream was on October 4th. On October 4th, Surging Sparks was 116. Surging Sparks was well under MSRP. And we were doing fine, making money. Very quickly, it started getting bonkers, and obviously the margins got obscene. But I like Whatnot. All these things existed last July when I made that short. When every Scarlet Violet era box was 120 and under, all these MSRP criers that are around today, everything was available. Rip and Ship still existed. They still did well. Did they do as well as they're doing now? Margins were probably lower because product was more free. There were more options to go to. There's a lot of streamers that just can't get product right now. But so I think if we downturn, it will exist. I will try to stick with it. But yeah, we'll see. I'm along for the ride. I'm riding the wave. In the amount of pivots that I've made in the past 4 years, I'm ready to make more in the future. One thing that I have to say, they're probably out there listening at some point in the future. They'll probably listen back to this. PK and Ponga. PK is full time. I have some amount of obligation, I feel, to try to keep live streaming working as long as I can. PK, when he quit his job, he knew that there was some amount of risk that the market could fundamentally change in the coming weeks, months, years. And he might not be able to do what he's doing today and crush the way he's crushing today. We will work through it together. We will journey together into the unknown. And I'm excited to see where it takes us. It's been fascinating how drastically the market has changed in the past 4 years since I've been full time. Gold stars have been doing crazy things. The Fine Card on Instagram, ZNG Emporium on Instagram. Top 10 Pokemon talks about WotC a decent bit here and there. There are some channels that do, but definitely less than the modern stuff. That's just inherently, like, that is always going to be the case. It's going to be the case because Pokemon Company themselves, eBay, Fanatics, like all these platforms make the most money where the most money is, where the most volume is, where the most liquidity is. Ultra modern will almost always be like the most hype. Like, as long as the hobby's growing, as long as things are going well, like it's good. Some people get like really mad about like, how is vintage not getting the respect it deserves? Buy it if you think it's cheap, and then maybe sometimes it'll go up and it'll catch up with what you think it should be. And it did that during 2020, 2021. It's doing that right now. How that will all pan out, I don't know. How's it going, GM? All the money in the world. What cards would you want? Any sets, cards, etc. All the money in the world. I don't know. I think like my grail is the 97 Pika #1. I think that I like it better than the Illustrator. I know it's worth less than the Illustrator generally, but the amount of illustrators that have sold recently, maybe that's not the case anymore. But I like the SSBs, the TMBs, the original trophies more than the Illustrator, Unicarp, Trophy Kang, things like that. PSA 10, Black Label. Let's say I would spend enough money, all the money in the world. I would buy all the PSA 10, all the Beckett 10 from Logan Paul, from Gary. I would buy all of them. I would crack them all out. I would submit them to Beckett until I got a Black Label, or to Tag until I got a Tag 1000. That's what I would want. A Tag 1000, a Beckett Black Label, base set first edition Charizard. How many packs are printed by Pokemon a year, do you think? Like, what percent are streamers ripping total supply? I have no idea. We know 13 billion. 13 billion is every language, every set. I don't know. People say what counts in that is energy cards, code cards, yada, yada, yada. I ripped a couple weeks ago on live. I ripped a 151 pack. In a 151 pack, it says 10 additional game cards. There's 10 cards, then there's an energy, then there's a code card. I don't know if they count energies and code cards when in the 13 billion. I genuinely don't know. That adjusts our numbers by an order of 15 to 20%. There's a lot of uncertainty, but if everything went into English booster product, which it doesn't, because some goes into promo, some goes into Japanese, some goes into Chinese, Korean, on and on. If everything was English packs, there would be 1.3 billion packs, right? That's the upside. That's the most it could be. That is the ceiling. We know an upper bound on what is the possible amount. It's probably less than half that because all the other languages exist, promos exist, on and on and on. So maybe there's 650 million packs. Maybe that's more accurate. How many, what percent are streamers ripping? I don't know. I know what I'm ripping. 4,500 packs a week, 250,000 a year. So 250,000 packs. Let me just type it out because this is going to be too hard. 250,000 into 650 million. Ugh. Let me just do 650 million divided by 250,000. 2,600. So I am ripping 2,600th of all the packs printed. That seems insane. I'm ripping. Let's do that. Let's do that as a. I'm ripping 0.00038 of the print run. I'm ripping 0.04% of the rough print run of Pokemon. That feels insane. Some people might say that's a tiny number. That's crazy. But I'm ripping, what is that? 1/25th of 1% of maybe all the Pokemon product they're printing. And I'm a tiny little nobody operation. PK Ponga, like we're a small operation relative to some of them out there. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that it still hasn't hit me that I'm actively handling and like sourcing for an operation that is shredding 600 to 700 packs a day. It blows my mind. Is our live streamers ripping 20% of that? 2% of that? A lot more than 2, because I'm doing 0.04%. I don't know. These large numbers hurt my brain. It's mind blowing. Paradox Rift, underrated or cooked, have an opportunity to buy a booster case. So always keep in mind my context. I buy at 70 to 85%. I never buy at 100%. I never buy at 110%, which many people do. Paradox Rift, I'm selling more than I'm buying at the current price. I think it's SV4. I think there's a decent chance it could get a reprint. Maybe it won't though. Who knows? It's coming up on over a year now, headed towards 2 years. Will they have time to? Like, these are the things that go through my head. I think it's better than some things, worse than others. I feel happy with the amount that I have, which is probably 15 cases or something. I'm not substantially adding to or removing from that amount as we speak. So yeah, I don't know. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Yes, always. Pinnacle of YouTube, reacting to your own videos. Who says, hold on, let me go dislike that short. The ratio will be terrible. It will be in the 60s or 70%. He goes and dislike. Shout out to Hoot TCG. Hoot TCG will be on PokeFlips this Friday. So looking forward to that. Hoot TCG just opened an LGS. So I don't know if he's going to be streaming from on site in the LGS. I'm excited for it regardless though. If you invested in first edition Jungle EV and PSA 10, you'd free extra money. The big thing that I don't like about vintage slabs is that the amount of money that you can put into them is not nearly as high. But like for you, it's yes, you can look at the lowest sale, you can look at the sales today, 3x. But like I could literally put 50 grand into Scarlet Violet booster box. To put 50 grand into that Eevee would have been very hard. Maybe you could have put 1,000, maybe you could have put 500, a couple thousand. But I might be missing out on a lot of stuff. As it stands right now, I'm definitely missing out on some gains. Not holding many slabs. But aside from my PC that I just showed, if I have a slab, I sell it. I am not really sitting on holding hardly any slabs. How's it going, everyone? Nice to see you. Does DR count? Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals would count as long as it hits it before July. In July, I said I predict a Scarlet Violet booster box will go to $300 within 12 months. So as long as it happens before July. How's it going, Mega Evo Mart? We're 2 hours in. We might be going for a while. I'm going to be here for a while. We'll see. No, officer, that tether isn't mine. I'm just holding it for a friend. Yeah, it's an interesting, unfortunate situation with that. So I had somebody come to my table. They were doing it for content. Like the amount of content that's been made, Robo Skills video, they got like 50 million views or whatever on YouTube Shorts. They did, instead of a trade up challenge, they did a trade down challenge just to make a video out of it. I appreciate you, DGen, dude. No, it's fine. I've definitely gotten a little bit riled up here. I've definitely said some things that I took too far, and appreciate you for apologizing, but no need to. Let's Mario Pika's, big fan of the Mario Pika's. Why are you more likely to sell one of the most iconic cards in the hobby, where only 629s in the world, but are more bullish on holding Evolving Skies at 1,300 when it's 13x since 2021? So this is with respect to me potentially selling my Shining Gyarados PSA 9 from Neo Revelation and holding on to one sealed case of Evolving Skies. I said that mostly jokingly. I don't want to sell that PSA 9 Shining Gyarados. If I regraded it and it got a tag 10 or a CGC 10 or a pristine or a PSA 10, I would have to sell it and then just buy back a PSA 9. But you've heard me say it, I hate grading. Like I do it because it makes money. I fundamentally disagree with a lot of the things grading companies do, and I'm not saying this only about PSA. I'm saying it about kind of all of them. I like it. I had a rant 2 months ago, 3 months ago on a live stream about my whole thoughts on grading. I like it in some ways, but like relative to the market, I hate it in that I just way lower value the third party opinion under what the market does. Like that card to me is so inflated in some ways due to the plastic and label around it. I would rather have that card LP in a binder, dollar wise. I don't even know what LP in a binder would sell for compared to what I have right now, but I just fundamentally don't like the values that the market puts on slabs, so I have a hard time holding on to them. But Evolving Skies, I'm not necessarily holding it because I think it's going to do amazing. I'm just holding it because I have no clue what the hell it's going to do. And I've been rewarded for holding it as long as I have. I could have been rewarded more if I held more of it. At one point, I had 10, 12, 15 cases of Evolving Skies. Today, I have one. So I can't sell out portions unless I try to liquid marketplace, Logan Paul it. That's one thing I don't like about slabs either. So slabs, you can optimize. You can make a bigger number with a different company or the same company. But packs and boxes and cases, like someday grading boxes might be a thing. And I've got a case that I can crack into and I can grade the box, sell them for some stupid premium. I could do live stream rips with it. I could do Evolving Skies week. Every night we're cracking a different box out of a case fresh Evolving Skies thing in 2, 5, 10 years. Like, I don't know. So much of the market is irrational. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. And I just, I'm forcing myself to hold that Evolving Skies case against my better judgment. And there could come a day in the coming weeks, months, years where it stagnates. It stays flat. It even goes down slightly. The amount of people that would say it's guaranteed to do XYZ, it can't go down. You're wrong. It might not. I would lean towards it not going down in the coming weeks, months, years, but it could. And I just genuinely don't know. Relative to my total net worth, relative to my total inventory, I think it's reasonable for me to hang on to that. So a lot of ranting, rambling about why my answer to that question is what it is. But I'm just, yeah, let me read it again. I love this statement. I'm just providing observational information to the best of my ability, and people can infer from it what they want. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat. What will outperform? What will outperform? A PSA 9 Shining Neo Revelation First Edition Gyarados, or a booster case of Evolving Skies? Obviously they're not the same value, so you have to adjust for percentage wise. I don't know. I could see, like, flip a coin. What do I think should? It's very dangerous saying what should happen and what shouldn't happen. I think the Gyarados should outperform. What will happen? I don't know. I genuinely have no clue. Probably because it's a better hold and more people want it. Retro answered much more succinctly than I could. I wouldn't say it's a flat out better hold, but I think it has a solid shot at being a better hold. I can't say with confidence though which one will double first, which one will be higher in 10, 20 years. I'm holding both. Listen to what I say, make your own judgments, do what you want to do, as always. Did you see the Pokemon intro for the baseball opener between the Dodgers and the Cubs in Japan? I saw in Discord. I saw there was a Pikachu behind Shohei Ohtani. I remember seeing so many rip and shippers go out of business in 2022. It surely will happen again. That's the way the market has a way of like controlling itself. I can't say it with infinite confidence, but I am fairly confident that I could survive a multi-year lull. I could survive multiple years as a Pokemon speculator, as a Pokemon business, as a Pokemon rip and ship operation with multi-years of boxes being widely available at under $100 a box. We will get there. I think we'll have that happen again in the future. Some people think it's never going to happen again. I think it will. I think I'll weather the storm. I hope PK and Ponga will weather the storm with me. I hope potentially maybe there's a third streamer. Who knows? But it remains to be seen. So I think I'm more built to weather it than the majority of businesses. But you never know. You never know. Life can throw all kinds of curveballs at me personally, at the market. Who knows? Nobody knows. That's the answer. I'll be rewatching at work tomorrow morning. Love the long lives to listen to at work the next day. Appreciate you, Gengar. Yeah, the classic. Got the OGs, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur. I bought a $50,000 collection. I didn't have my bank rant yet. Let me do my bank rant. Do we want red lights? We haven't done red lights in a few weeks. We're gonna do red lights. Let me prepare. We're going red lights. It's gonna be a quick red light. I'm gonna trash banks, and then we're gonna come back to blue and orange. But we're gonna do it because it's been too long. James, I don't know if you're out there. Somebody tag James on Discord. He's probably sleeping by now. Thanks. It's 2025. I went to Chase. So this morning. So I bought a $50,000 collection that included all these. That included a lot of other cards, mostly Watsy. Slabs. Some slabs I freed from their plastic prisons. And I owed the guy 50 grand. So on Monday, I tried sending 50 grand wire. Declined. Fraud. They didn't call me. They said they'd call me. I looked online. It said, hey, we're reviewing your wire. We're going to call you if we need to. They didn't call me. My service is spotty at my house. Okay, maybe I missed the call. So on Tuesday, I scheduled the wire for 25 grand. After I called them, after I straightened things around, it's like, hey, I'm going to be sending a wire. I sent half of it. On Tuesday, it went through 25 grand. Half paid for what I was trying to pay for Monday. Today, Wednesday, I tried paying the remaining 25 grand. So Chase, for my protection, because they think I'm like, it's unfortunate that we live in a world where scams happen, but they happen. It's unfortunate that we live in a world where every time I send a wire or an ACH or a Zelle, I have to click 25 boxes. I have to click all these different things about like watch out for these scams, watch out for those scams. Like how it's sad. I think a lot of the scams target primarily elderly people and blah, blah, blah. But like people being as foolish as they are, as ignorant, as stupid, silly, whatever with their money, it makes me hard to do my job of paying people for their packs they're selling me, of paying people for the collections that I'm buying, of paying people for the consignments they send to me. I got every payment out, but I sent the 25K wire, declined, account locked at 10 a.m. this morning. 10 a.m., 9 a.m., I forget exactly. Sometime this morning, early this morning, on consignor payout day, I had to send dozens of payments to dozens of people. My Chase account was locked. I couldn't log in. I tried sending 50 grand Monday, declined. 25 grand went through Tuesday. 25 grand declined, account locked on Wednesday. So I call and I say, hey, I am me. I gave him all the numbers. I gave him all the things. I verified I am who I am. On the phone, it's like, hey guys, you declined this 25. I'm going to send it again now. I said, would you please stay on the line with me while I send this 25 grand so that you can click the right buttons and say the right things to tell people that, like, I am on the line with this guy. I already verified he is who he is. I just unlocked his account. Let this go through. And she was a very nice woman. She said all the right things. She said, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. You're the best part of Chase. Mr. Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles, thank you for being the best part of Chase. You have a nice day. And I said, thank you. Thinking in my mind, I wish I didn't have to call you. It sucks. Whatever. It is what it is. Monday, it didn't work. Tuesday, it worked. Wednesday, you locked my account. Called and it's all smoothed out, right? 30 minutes later, it may be less. My mind is terrible. It's been a long day. They, oh no, that just went down the wrong tube. I'm getting worked up. Oh man, that just went down the wrong tube. Sorry, I'm coming back around. But so I have to go. Now they tell me, I send it again with the lady on the phone. She tells me it's gonna go through. Now it looks like I'm so mad I'm crying because I just choked myself. But they call me 30, no, they don't call me. They cancel it again, and they didn't lock my account again though. So they canceled it, but they didn't lock it. So I called again, and they said, we can't verify who you are. After I gave the same answers to the same verification questions, I go into the branch. They said you have to go into the branch. It's Wednesday. It's payout day. I have my Pokenomics office hours. I have a lot of stuff going on. I got to get it done. I have my parents and my sister coming over. I've got to make food and stuff. It was a busy day. I had to go to the bank for an hour and a half. What I do at the bank is I go and the lady pulls up my account on the screen and she's like, oh, I've never seen that before. I'm like, what is it? Is there like red lights and sirens? Are they saying like, watch out for this man? He's trying to steal money. Literally, that's what was being said on my Chase account. She said she's never seen it. She called over a manager who called over his manager. They've never seen before what was on the screen. I said, I was with them 4 or 5 months ago. Back when I opened my Chase account, same thing. Zells declined, ACHs declined, wires declined. Everything was getting declined for like a week. I went in like 3 hours that day. And I said, I apologize that I'm doing this to you guys. I'm not having fun. You're not having fun. But we'll get through it together. We got through it together. I said, I hope I never see you again. But nothing about you. I hope things work. And in 2025, it's like I was there. I gave him my ID. I gave him my credit card. I gave him everything in my wallet. I'm like, if you need a blood sample, I'm ready. If you need a retinal scan, if you need a fingerprint, whatever you want, I will give it to you. I'm here. I'm me. I need this money to go here. It took an hour and a half in 2025 to make that happen. I'm not a big like crypto bull. I'm not a big go buy this, go buy that. I have a little bit of Ethereum. I have a little bit of Bitcoin. But in 2025, how can I not just send money? How do banks only operate between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on weekdays? Like this was the middle of a weekday, luckily. If I needed to send it on a Saturday, you're out of luck. If I needed to send it on a Sunday at a convention, all conventions happen on Saturdays and Sundays, right? So it's like, what are we doing in 2025 having to have so many phone calls, have so many, and the verification on the phone is such a joke anyways. But blows my mind. I know. I told them when I left. I'm like, thank you. I apologize that I'm such a pain in the butt. I'm not having fun either. And I said, I hope we don't have to meet again in this way. Sometimes I go and I take cash out, buying collections, whatever. But so I do go there periodically. But when I go in there with a big issue that I know is going to take a long time, which has happened twice, I apologize in advance. I try to tell them too. Like, I try to not be an a-hole. I know they're just doing their jobs. I know that the individual that I'm talking with on the phone, the individual that I talk with at the desk, the managers, I know that it's not their fault. I know that it's corporate bureaucracy, red tape, fraud prevention, blah, blah, blah. But like Robot Dan, the lights turn a little bit red. The red light hit the bald spots, the thin spots on my head, and it makes me feel some kind of way. And some of that comes through, and it's it wasn't Zell. It was a wire. In this instance, it was a $50,000 wire that I turned into two $25,000 wires that locked my account, that did this, that did all these things, make me have to go to the branch, and it's just a joke. It is a joke. And I use Chase. Chase is way better. So everything that's going on now, my credit union couldn't even do. So props to Chase for being better than my credit union. I've heard NBT's better. I've heard NBT's worse. I've heard Chase is good. I've heard Chase is bad. Chase is good to me most days. To be fair to Chase, this is the first time I've had an issue in like 4 months. Whenever I last ranted about it on a live stream, this is the first time I've had to go in branch. I've had some canceled. I've called. The call is resolved it. But in this instance, it was like, I think because it was 50 grand. 50 grand is atypical. I'm not doing 50 grand wire transfers all the time. But it's so annoying. It's so annoying. All the fraud prevention, it's like, I use the same desktop computer with the same IP address on the same ISP all the time. Like, how can they not figure it out better? They text me and I answer, I call and I do all the things, and I don't know why we're doing what we're doing with it. I'm gonna quickly see if there's any other conversations about the banking stuff. I'm gonna go back. I don't have like a video to transition me out of the red lights, but I'm going to manually do it if I have to. I almost got so worked up. I choked on my Coca-Cola. Bank grants will be the most common thing that brings me to the red lights, I think. I use Mercury Bank. They seem nice. No Zelle, though. Chase has been a nightmare to deal with. See, again, some people say, like, oh, Chase has actually been better. I've heard Schwab is better, and I've heard Schwab is worse. I don't know. Someone needs their fee. I had my credit card number stolen recently. The person who stole it was me. It was a pain in the ass. I don't know what that means exactly. Did you lose it and think it was stolen and then cancel it and then you ended up finding it? Maybe that's what that means. That doesn't surprise me, but my bank was super sussed out when I told them I was selling skins in a video game. That's the thing. I go and I tell them, it's like, yes, I move a lot of money. And I tell them, it's like, hey guys, every week, every Wednesday, I'm going to send a lot of Zelle, a lot of ACH, a lot of wire every Wednesday for consignment payouts. And periodically, I'm going to buy big collections sporadically. I don't know if it'll be a Monday or a Wednesday or a Friday or whenever, but I did a video at the start of the year. I sold over $3 million in 2024. I'm going to sell $4 or $5 million in 2025. All that money is going to be flowing through Chase. $100,000 a month. I think I'm a pretty good customer of theirs. They make a lot of money off my account. They have a lot of money to play with off my account. We're in red lights, and I forgot to do that. We didn't get the full red light effect. Crap. I screwed up. I was supposed to go all the way down like this. I apologize that I didn't give it the full red light that it should have had, but we're going to come out of red light now. We're going to go back to blue and orange Dan. I imagine I'll wrap up like relatively soon in the next 30 minutes maybe, but we'll see. Threaten to move your money to another bank. You'd be amazed at what they can all of a sudden do for you. I don't think that it would be true in this instance. I talked with the manager and the manager's manager, and I'm like, they're just like, we can't do anything. This is the corporate policy. This is the almighty AI bot, fraud detection bots, whatever. I truly don't think that they would, one, care, two, have the ability to change anything. I think at a mom and pop like credit union or small bank, I think you'd be more likely in that instance. But with it being Chase, I think their policies are their policies, and that's just what it is. Banks are outdated. Just keep your money buried in your backyard like the rest of us. Regular Coke. I can't do zero. I can't do aspartame. I can't do sucralose. I can't do any of that stuff. Oh, yeah, the 50K collection that I bought, it was these came from it. It was a lot of slabs. It was primarily WotC. It was a lot of quantity on PSA 1 all the way to PSA 8, 9 of base set 2 legendary collection. There was a little bit of Neo era, all different kinds of things. I might do a video on it. I might not though. I'm pretty much sending most of it immediately to Fanatics. We'll see if I make any money. I paid a high percentage on it, and I'm just immediately sending to Fanatics. I'm utilizing the same platform that I do, like the consignment service. Obviously, when I consign for other people, I make some amount of money. I can sell for better rates than these, but I paid in the 80% on it, and we'll see if I actually make any margin. Maybe I'll do a video recap of that, but some amount of them, like I cracked out some of the PSA 5, 6, 7. Some of the PSA 6s were like the clean PSA 6s where it's a mint card that has a little dent that made it get a 6, and it's like that would be a CGC 8. I think I bought 200 cards, so an average of $250 a card, and I want to say I cracked 70 of them. I think I sent 110-ish to Fanatics to just insta auction. I cracked 70-ish. I'm taking about 20 slabs to sell on live streams. I guess I have some of them. So here's like a PSA 8 base for Zard. That's one of them. Here's a PSA 7 base for Raichu. PK is going to get this it was going to be a surprise, but now it's not a surprise anymore. I'm going to have that in hand this weekend. Maybe he won't have time for my live stream. It actually had some evolutions. Had a PSA 9 evolutions Charizard. It had Cosmos Holofoil, Machamp. I don't know where I put the other slabs. I only have a handful here. I think I saved some more though. But that's a lot of what it was. It was like popular species, PSA 7, 8, 9, some of them lower grades. I cracked a lot of the PSA 6s to cross grade with CGC and then auction on Fanatics, because I think a lot of them will get like CGC 8s and sell for more money. Maybe they won't though. We'll see though. Yeah, I unfortunately didn't make it all the way up the chain to the manager's manager. They probably could have helped me out. Please find another collection similar to that 50K collection. Maybe I'll send some to the TCG player as well. I probably should earmark some for that though. But a lot of them, I don't know. I guess I'd be interested. I don't know what the pricing would look like on like PSA 6 and 7 quality cards. But anyways, I skipped some questions to go have the bank rant. I'm going to scroll back and make sure I answer every question. And then whenever I catch up, I will end the stream. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm down to hang out. I will definitely end before 1. If I will answer every question. I will answer them quickly if I have to get done by 1. But I will probably end closer to like 12:30 if I had to guess. Maybe before that. We didn't talk about Lego Pokemon. So for those unaware, presumably some contract, something expired with Pokemon and Nanoblocks. Pokemon and Nanoblocks was like the biggest whiff on a collaboration in like corporate history. Probably not actually, but very emotionally, very like nostalgic letdown for me. I was a big Lego kid. I was a big Pokemon kid. Nanoblocks are just Legos from Wish. They're rip-off Legos that I don't want to interact with. My kids do have some Pokemon Legos. I have a little bit of Pokemon building blocks, Nanoblocks, whatever they were. Now that they're going to be actual legitimate Legos, I am going to interact with them more. Am I going to invest in them? Am I going to like get crazy with it? I don't think so, but I'm super excited. I am super excited for the collaboration that always should have been to finally happen. I think the print runs are going to be pretty crazy. I think Lego and Pokemon are both going to print relentlessly. But I think some amount of people buying the sets, grading the sets, I don't think I'm going to get deep into it. There's a lot of places to make money in the hobby right now. And I'm not taking advantage of every 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch cardboard rectangle that I could be. There's more money I could be making in these that I'm not doing because I don't have the time to. I don't see myself, but like selling Lego boxes is more akin to selling one of these because there's so much more surface area. There's so much more like room for dents and scratches and dings and weird coloring on the printing on the box. Well, business to the consumer, I don't even do anymore. But I love shipping these. I love shipping these. So much easier. I love storing those things too. You talk about air, you talk about space, you talk about the like condition complaints from investors and stuff. I'm not about any of that stuff when it comes to Legos. So I don't see myself having backgrounds like Rudy does with all of his crazy amounts of Lego sets. Will I have some here and there that I open and build with the kids? Will I have some that I set back? Probably. But I'll be doing it way more consumery than investory, speculatory, anything like that. Who will be streaming on site at the LGS this Friday on PokeFlips? Driving to New York to pick up a collection that morning, getting back around 12 to 1. Interesting. The PSA 9 Shining Gyarados is 2,500. Like, as a collector, would I rather have one Shining Gyarados or two Evolving Skies boxes? Easily the one Shining Gyarados. I value that more as a collector. But as far as like two Evolving Skies boxes or one Shining Gyarados, which one do I think will grow the most in the coming year, 6 years, 10 years, whatever? Coin flip. Truly, I think it's like a coin flip. As crazy as that feels to say. Retro would take the two Evolving Skies though. Mega Evo Mart says Evolving Skies and it won't be close in 10 years. Kitty Zhao says booster box. Godly Shad would take and one thing I say too, like, don't get worked up about it. Don't look, and I'm not saying anyone is, but like, place your bets. Nobody knows. I attribute like a coin flip. I attribute a coin flip. It wouldn't overly surprise me if Evolving Skies wins. Wouldn't overly surprise me if the Gyarados wins. I have some of both. I'm invested on both sides of that. So I think there'll be a lot of things that outperform both of them. What they are exactly, I don't know. I probably have something that will significantly outperform both. I have a lot of different things. Will it be my Bitcoin? Will it be my S&P 500 funds? Will it be my Scarlet Violet base cases? I have no clue. Will it be my Crown Zenith loose packs that I have 10,000 of? We'll find out in time, and it will have all been obvious. I speak in hyperbole, never take me seriously. Michael Duck says, no question. Evolving Skies booster box hold better than Shining Gyarados 9 hold. If you're gonna buy vintage, don't play around. Buy the 10 whales, don't want 9s. Buy the 9, make it a 10. That's the true play. I think the Shining Gyarados could double in the next 2 months, though, to be fair. Vintage getting hyped now, and there's so little of it compared to insert random PSA 10, 50k pop alt art, but long-term Evolving Skies. I bought my Gyarados for $1,350. It's $2,600 now. I delisted my Gyarados from eBay. I think I took it back from the eBay vault. Or no, I think I just didn't send it to the eBay vault. I forget what it was, but at the time I put my Shining Gyarados, like at the time I consciously set it aside, it was like $1,300 to $1,500 in that vicinity. Yeah, it's up 2x in a year, but as I just showed earlier, every Scarlet Violet set was 100 back last July, and they're all like 200 now. And the big thing is, if I wanted to put 20 grand into that Gyarados, I would have had a significantly harder time. I would have moved the market doing that. One thing I like about Modern right now is that I like liquidity, putting money into it, market cap, volume, whatever, all that stuff. Red lights. Tired of trashing banks. We need a solution. Is crypto that solution? I genuinely have no idea. I sometimes have transacted. It's funny. I have paid out in USDC. I've bought collections in USDC. You know what the issue becomes? Banks. Banks get in the way of that. I tried creating a business Coinbase. Coinbase wouldn't let me because the bank account I had tied to it was personal. So they wouldn't let me create a business Coinbase because I tied a personal bank account to it. Because I started buying Bitcoin years ago out of my personal account, just screwing around, just playing around. I didn't buy it really as an investment necessarily. Did I think it could go up? Yes. Did I plan on it 500xing from what my original buy-in was? No. I bought my first Bitcoin when it was about 200, and crazy what it's become. But yeah, my credit union used to get mad at Coinbase. It was like it would fraud, it would lock things down. Same issue I'm having now. It's so annoying. Um, yeah, like hindsight is so easy. Hindsight is so easy. If you could have in this world we live in today, with the apps, with the instant liquidity, instant trading, if you saw a week into the future, if on Monday morning you knew open close of every stock, of every crypto, of everything for a week, if you could just see the chart of Tesla for a week in the future, it's very volatile right now, political things, whatever's going on with Tesla. Um, if you could see the week future of that, you could go from $1,000 to $1 billion in a week. That amount of liquidity exists in the markets today. It's very easy to look back and say you could have done XYZ. Anyone could be a billionaire in a week if you had foresight the way that we have hindsight, right? It's easy. As I constantly say on this channel, I just talk about what I'm doing while I'm doing it. And I do look back, I do reflect. There's value in looking back, and but way too often people say like, "Oh, it was obviously going to do this, it did this," and I don't know. But we're all just talking, a little bit of memeing, a little bit of like I don't think anyone's getting that worked up. It is what it is. We spend a lot of time pontificating, talking about what might happen and this and that, and I don't know. Yeah, I was talking in Discord earlier during my office hour, and it's like expectation versus reality. I sold $3 million in Pokemon last year, and I might sell 5 million this year in Pokemon. Expectation is like rolling up to Collecticon in a Lamborghini. You got a briefcase, duffel bag of money, $100 bills flowing everywhere, buying Mario Pikachu's, buying Evolving Skies cases, buying this, that, and the other thing. That's the expectation. The reality is like talking on the phone with Chase. This is the car that I drove when I was 17 years old. Here's what my two social security numbers. This just said I disconnected for a second. Am I back? I think I'm back, but my Discord said I was disconnected for a second. Let me know. Somebody in chat, let me know if I'm still here. But I think I am. Uh, it does say chat disconnected though. I don't know if I'm actually here or not. Ooh, TCG will be on PokeFlips this Friday. Oh no, I think I'm offline entirely. I think I'm back now. I apologize for that. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it looks like I'm actually back now. Um, I don't know what it is, but in the past month or so, after so many months of not having any issues, I've had like I've dropped for a minute here and there. Reconnection successful. I think I'm here. I think I'm streaming again. It shows that I dropped 0 frames, but it says I have a 145-second delay. Still bugged. Crap. This is the car that I drove when I was 17 years old. Here's what my 2 social security numbers. This just said I disconnected for a second. Am I back? Now it says back. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that. Like I said, my I have T-Mobile home internet. I've been a very happy customer for the past year. Maybe you have to refresh. Refresh if you are having an issue. I don't know if I'm actually here or not. But yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap relatively soon. I think I just lost half my viewership, so I should be able to catch up with chat really quickly. Continue to ask questions if you want to. Oh, it refreshed, so I lost all my things that I had highlighted because I refreshed my chat. So my chat highlight still works. You think, therefore you are. Sadly, still here. Thanks, Kai. We're back. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any questions. The nano blocks were hard to build. I'm a pretty decent sized guy. My like doing the little tiny pieces, not a big fan. Nano blocks were so bad. I agree. Not a huge fan. We did have some of them though. My son actually, we still have an unbuilt one, a pretty good sized one he got from Christmas. We need to find time to do that during this year before Lego comes out. I was just about to go to the router and unplug and replug, but I didn't have to. Every sip of that jug is like 30 calories. You should reconsider 0. So I do enjoy Coke. I know that it's not good for me, but I enjoy IPAs. I know they're not amazing for me. I just ordered, they just came in today. I ordered, they're called Horny kegs. They're 5-gallon empty kegs. And I'm going to home brew my own sparkling water. So most of what I drink during a day, I drink like 3 of these, of one with lemon and water, and that's it, and ice. And then I do like 2 a day of sparkling water and lemon and ice. And then usually with dinner, usually with lunch, I have a nice tall glass of 1% milk. So I actually, I have a kegerator that I bought 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I bought it at my last house. And I haven't had since I moved in this house, 2020, I haven't had a keg in my kegerator. Or maybe I did 1 or 2 early on. But anyways, I realized like sparkling water is just like, why am I buying sparkling water from the store when I have a kegerator with a 10-pound CO2 tank in it? I can literally just make it. I looked it up online. I bought the fittings for it. You just put water in a 2-liter. You put 50 pounds of carbon dioxide to the 2-liter, and you make sparkling water. So I went to the next level. Instead of doing it in a 2-liter, I'm gonna buy a 5-gallon keg, and I'm gonna have sparkling water on tap. I didn't fully set it up yet, but I've started the process. Probably by this Friday I'm going. This weekend I'm going to PK's for the box break. Next weekend I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. It might not happen over the next 2 weeks, but because they're gonna be busy. In the next few weeks though, sometime in April, I'm going to have sparkling water on tap in the house, and I'm gonna try to be a lot better. I still will buy Coke for treats. I still do enjoy it. But sparkling water is the vast majority of what I drink now. Nintendo has long-standing beef with Lego, but they did the NES. I think they did a Super Nintendo as well. Would love to start investing in Lego with Pokemon releases. You will not be alone. I'll be interested to see how they perform. I just don't plan on it. I have a lot of space. Retro similarly, lives in the woods. I think he has a fair bit of space. I have a lot of space, but if I were to try to put 50 or 100 grand in Lego, I don't like the thought of how much space that will take. This live chat just froze entirely. Whatever. You want to invest into Lego, never pay MSRP. Only buy when the sets are about to retire. I went down a rabbit hole on the Lego market a while back. Very interesting how it works. I've listened to some YouTube live streams. I've talked about it, or not talked about it. I've looked into it a little bit. I've listened to people talk about it pretty in depth. I'm just gonna try to stay in my lane. S&P 500, MetaZoo, Pokemon, things like that. So I have a kegerator that I bought 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I bought it at my last house, and I haven't had since. What I think is crazy is when I was a kid, people would go into a grocery store, spend $200, write a check at that grocery store, might not even know is bad for a week or two. Now it's instant and hard to move. Yeah, it's crazy. The stream was dead. Mr. Freeze arrived. I'm at the point where I was bugged. Then I came back. So how long was I gone? I was gone for like 2 minutes. We're back. We're back. I don't know if there are more questions. I'm good back online. You should adjust your noise gate. It cuts off the first word of most of your sentences. I am terrible with that stuff. If it's my noise gate, which it definitely might be, are there any experts out there on sound? I have a closed threshold of -32. I have an open threshold of -26, attack of 25 milliseconds, hold of 50 milliseconds, and a release of 50 milliseconds. let me Google really quickly. OBS noise gate filter setting. I don't know what it should be, but I've had that feedback more than once. Oh no. How long is I think my audio's been double playing. I think it was very quiet though. Maybe no one even heard it. Do you think we will continue seeing $230 to $250 booster boxes at release, at least for the rest of Scarlet and Violet? The rest of Scarlet and Violet, as far as I understand, is literally just Journey Together and then Destined Rivals. I've heard that beyond Destined Rivals, it will be a new set, a new block. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard. So I think Destined Rivals will be quite expensive out of the gate. Can I guarantee that? Is that a certainty? No. Maybe Pokemon has been printing Team Rocket for the past year. Maybe they knew it was going to be insane. I have no idea. But look at pre-order prices of Team Rocket. Like, this market that we're in is bonkers. I don't know when or how or why. It has to turn at some point. It has to become more like it has been historically. We will get sub $100 set boosters simultaneously. I think a Scarlet Violet era box will be over 300 by July. And simultaneously, I think within the next 6 to 24 months, we will have main set boxes under 100 shipped on eBay again. I think those two things will happen. But yeah, in the future, I've always thought that someday I might brew my own beer. I might try making my own lagers and IPAs and whatever. And now I have the equipment to do that. I had the kegerator for a long time, but now I have the kegs. Short term, literally you put water in it, and then you put CO2 to it, and you give it hours or days to let the CO2 dissolve into the water. And then you have yeah, I did have sound in the background. I apologize. This stream is falling apart. But I'm going to be wrapping up very soon. Dan, you have sound playing that is echoing through the stream, FYI. I did watch that one. I watched that one with the Over the Brick guy. That was very interesting. That was very interesting. He makes like custom things. Lego used to have a patent that expired apparently. And that's why there's like mega blocks and nano blocks, and there's all these different building blocks that they used to not be able to be the same size as Legos, the same designs, whatever. But once that expired, I think they became a lot more ubiquitous. and there's this guy over the brick PCG, over the brick whatever, and he that was really interesting. The custom minifigures that he makes, that was one of my favorite like non Pokemon with Pokemon people kind of podcast that I watched in a while. But yeah, it seems like I'm fully caught up. I apologize that we got out of whack there at the end. I said I would likely be done at 12:30. I wish it didn't have to go that way. I definitely